Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible and visible? Good morning, Saranya. Good morning, Yasin, Tabassum, Raghava, Zeba. Yeah, I'll answer that, Yasin. Just hold on. Good morning, everyone. Sana, Sejal. So, a very good morning. Yesterday, I discussed the Delhi Sultanate. Tra, good morning. Hemalata, Pranit, Stephen. Good morning, all of you. Sham. Right. Now, yesterday, we finished with the Delhi Sultanate topic. And we discussed in detail about the five dynasties, the slave dynasty, the Khaljis, the Tughlaqs, the Saids, and the Lodhis. And we saw that the last Lodhi ruler, Ibrahim, was disliked by many Afghan nobles, and three of them, um, two Afghans and one Rajput ruler, invited Babur to attack India. Daulat Khan Lodhi, the governor of Punjab, Alam Khan Lodhi, the uncle of Ibrahim Lodhi, and of course Rana Sangram Singh of Mewar. So these three people are supposed to have invited Babur separately, and Babur came. He was already planning a fifth attack, and then happened the first battle of Panipat, in which Babur defeated and killed Ibrahim Lodhi and established the Mughal Empire. Right. So we have seen that. Yasin asked me a question. What is Mansoor and Chalisa? Chalisa is the group of 40 ministers during the time of Iltutmish. Yeah, got it, Yasin? So the group of 40 ministers who were the eyes and ears of the Sultan, they were the advisors of Iltutmish, and they became the de facto authority after the death of Iltutmish. And they were not exactly 40 in number, but about 36 in number. They are called Turkani Chihilgani or Chalisa. Mansoor, another question she asked, what is Mansoor? Mansoor is a letter of investiture where the Delhi Sultans like Iltutmish, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Firuz Shah Tughlaq sent gifts to the Khalifa and requested the Khalifa, the Caliph, to recognize their rule, recognize that they were the lawful rulers at Delhi. And the Khalifa willingly obliged once he received the gifts. That's called Mansoor. Did you get me? Uh, Stephen. Okay, Sham, I will take care of that. I will definitely do that. Yeah, so we'll come back here. So yesterday we discussed about Babur in detail, who this Babur was, Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, his background, and how destiny brought him from Central Asia to the northwest portions of India. And he conquered Kabul, and then he launched an attack on India. There happened the first battle of Panipat, in which he defeated and killed Ibrahim Lodi. And Babur fought 4 battles in 4 years. In 4 years, he fought 4 battles. So remember those 4 battles: the first battle of Panipat, the battle of Khanwa, the battle of Chanderi, and the battle of and the battle of Ghagra. And in all these battles, Babur was victorious. And then his eldest son Humayun, I told you yesterday's class, was on his deathbed. But then Babur prayed to God Allah, and there was a miracle. And Humayun recovered. He miraculously recovered, and Babur fell sick and he died. But before he died, he took a promise from his son, his eldest son Humayun, that he will treat his stepbrothers as his own brothers, and he will divide the empire amongst his stepbrothers also. And Humayun promised his father that he will do so. Initially, Babur was buried at Agra and later reburied. According to his wish, he wanted to be reburied in Kabul. So he was reburied in Kabul in the terrace of a garden, which doesn't have a ceiling on top. Babur is famous for his, of course, autobiography, which he wrote in Chagatai Turkish language, that is the Tuzuki Baburi or Baburnama. And the third part of the Baburnama, I have told you yesterday, it talks about India, the flora and the fauna of the country. He criticizes, he praises himself, sorry, he praises many aspects of India. He also criticizes India and, of course, himself. So, since it is written in a very simple manner, easy to understand manner, he has been called the prince amongst autobiographers. Now, let us come to Humayun, right? So let us come to Humayun, and then we'll go to the other Mughal emperors, Akbar. The most important ruler is Akbar here in this chapter called Mughal Empire. Then Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. So we'll talk about it, and then hopefully I should be able to also come to the chapter on Marathas today, and the great warrior of the Marathas, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So here, let's come to um, Humayun. So Humayun, as you can see on your screen, he ruled for 10 years, 1530 to 40, and there's an interregnum. Interregnum means gap. Okay, so there's an interregnum or a gap of how many years? 15 years, 1540 to 1555. There was no Mughal Empire during that period. For 15 years, there was no Mughal Empire because Humayun had lost everything. What his father had with so much of great difficulty, what he had built was lost by Humayun. So how he lost whatever his father had built, we will talk about it. And an interesting chap, this Humayun. Nasruddin Muhammad Humayun, that was his real name, Nasruddin Mirza Nasruddin Muhammad Humayun. Humayun means fortunate. Humayun means fortunate. That is the meaning of Humayun. But his life was full of unfortunate circumstances or unfortunate happenings, and nobody has to be blamed except Humayun himself. So Humayun was a very capable man. He had fought shoulder to shoulder with his father. We have seen that in the four battles: first battle of Panipat, battle of Kanwa, battle of Chanderi, battle of Ghagra. He had fought with his father, and he had brought victory to his father. But then Humayun had certain personality defects, personality drawbacks, let me call it drawbacks, which costed him the throne later. So, what are the personality drawbacks of Humayun? So, he was a person who was very slow in making decisions. So, very slow in making decisions. So, he would procrastinate. He would procrastinate and was not able to decide. And once he decided, after a lot of procrastination, he was still slower to implement whatever he had decided to do. So slow in implementation also, right? Then he was too slow in battle. He was too slow in battle. So when you are on the battlefield, you have to take quick decisions, decisive moves, make decisive moves. Like for example, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the great captain of Indian cricket team, is known for his captaincy because he would take quick decisions and out of the box thinking. He was known for that. So he brought victory to India in many matches. Like that, Humayun was a person who was slow in battle, too slow to win a battle rather, right? Then he was a bad judge of men, very bad judge of men. He did not know whom to trust. Bad judge of men, right? Um, Sustained energy. He lacked sustained energy. So he was like a soda bottle where initially there is a lot of fizz and then it fizzles out quickly. So he lacked sustained energy, right? And so all these are the various drawbacks of Humayun, which costed him. And of course, one more and the most serious personality problem: addicted to wine, severely addicted to wine, women, and opium. Almost all the Mughals, except Aurangzeb, were addicted to wine, women, and opium. But then he was extra addicted, this Humayun, addicted to wine, women, and opium. Now, uh, according to the promise given to his father, Humayun divided the empire amongst his stepbrothers. So, if you look at the screen on your, before you, you had internal and external problems which Humayun had to face. Internal problems were that of his stepbrothers. He divided the empire amongst them. Kamran, nothing wrong in that. He had given a promise to his father and he fulfilled that promise. So Kamran, one of the stepbrothers, was given Kabul and Kandahar. He was made the governor of Kabul and Kandahar, which are now in Afghanistan, right? Askari was given Sambhal near Delhi, an area called Sambhal near Delhi, right? So he was given that area. And Hindal was given the Alwar region, Alwar in Rajasthan. So he was given the Alwar region as the governor of that place. Okay, Roshan, just hold on. We have come to Humayun. I have recapped briefly. So after the death of Babur, Humayun comes to picture. He comes to the throne. He had some drawbacks, personality drawbacks. So he is not in Abhaya Mudra. Sham says he's Satyam says Humayun is in Abhaya Mudra. No, he is just shown like in a painting like that. He is not in Abhaya Mudra. He is in his left hand, right? Generally, Abhaya Mudra is in the right hand. So, did you get me, Satyam? So, don't read too much into that painting. Okay, so we'll come back here. Good, you made me laugh in the morning. Right. So, Kamran was given the governorship of Kabul and Kandahar. Askari was made the governor of Sambhal. And then, of course, Hindal was made governor of Alwar region. Then, apart from these three brothers of his, stepbrothers, who later did not help him, he helped his brothers, but then they did not help him later. That's why I have mentioned it as internal problems, right? Then he had external problems. One is, of course, the king of Gujarat, Bahadur Shah, and the another person called Sher Shah Sur, who became the ruler of Bihar and later Bengal. Sher Shah Suri, or Sher Khan, as he was called earlier, who became the ruler of Bihar and Bengal. We'll talk about Sher Shah and the Suri dynasty later, right? So he had these external difficulties also. Now, two times Humayun defeated both Bahadur Shah of Gujarat and Sher Shah Sur. So he defeated both of these rulers, but he did not kill them. He should have done that. Given the Yuddha Niti, the laws of war, the law of war during those days, he should not have spared them. Once he defeated them, he should have gone for the kill. But that he did not do that, and then it costed him later his throne. Now, he defeated the king of Bihar, Muhammad Lodi. So later you see this Muhammad Lodi of Bihar. Sher Khan was very close to him. Sher Khan became a friend of this Muhammad Lodi of Bihar. In a hunting incident, you have a tiger pouncing upon Muhammad Lodi, who was the prince at that point in time, and then Sher Khan managed to kill that particular tiger. Earlier his name was Farid. So Farid was given the title of Sher Khan. Later Sher Khan became Sher Shah Sur. Right? That's how we'll talk about Farid or Sher Shah Sur later. So he became very close to the ruler of Bihar. And once the ruler of Bihar died, he died at a very short age. He became the regent to his son. And later he killed the son and usurped the throne. So he snatched away the throne of Bihar. So he became the king of Bihar and later Bengal. So, Humayun defeated Muhammad Lodi of Bihar at Daura, and then we have Humayun laying siege to the fort of Chunar. Chunar in UP. Chunar is a place in UP. So he attacked Chunar, right? And who was controlling the fort of Chunar? This man called Sher Khan. Now, as Humayun's army was approaching Chunar to conquer Chunar, lay siege is surrounding, laying siege. Laying siege is surrounding the fort, right? So as his army was approaching Chunar to attack Chunar, Humayun knew about the drawbacks of, sorry, Sher Khan knew about the drawbacks of Humayun, his addictions to wine, women, and opium. So before he left the fort of Chunar, he kept these three things in plenty: wine, women, opium in plenty. And he decamped from there. So Humayun enters Chunar unopposed, right? He entered Chunar unopposed, and when he went inside, he saw all these things. His favorite: wine, women, opium, and he was very elated. He was very happy, and he renamed Chunar as Jannatabad. Jannat is paradise, Jannatabad, and for 6 months he put tent there. That is, he stayed in Chunar or Jannatabad, enjoying these three things. Now, in that period of 6 months, Sher Khan regrouped himself, strengthened his army, and in two decisive battles, he defeated Humayun. One is the Battle of Chausa Baksar, 1539. 1539, he defeated Humayun in the Battle of Chausa Baksar. Humayun was caught between the devil and the deep sea, literally, in the sense that you have Sher Khan's army in the front and the river Ganga in the rear of his rear, and the river Ganga was in spate. It was in floods. So if he goes for front, he'll be killed by Sher Khan and his soldiers. And the Ganga was in floods, so he did not know what to do. He took a chance and jumped into the river Ganga, and he was carried away in the current. But miraculously, a water carrier or a sakka or a water carrier pulled him out of the river and saved his life. That is the time when Humayun asked help from his stepbrothers, Kamran, Askari, Hindal, please help me. Those three stepbrothers, turned their back to Humayun. They did not help him. They turned their back to him. So in a very desperate situation, he managed to regroup, organize another army, and again he challenged Sher Khan. Sher Khan already had sat on the throne of Delhi, and had taken the title Farid al-Din Sher Shah. Farid al-Din Sher Shah. So here you have the Battle of Bilgram or Kannauj in 1540, as you can see on your screen. 1540, the Battle of Kannauj or Bilgram. So in this particular battle, again, Sher Khan defeated Humayun decisively and took away his entire kingdom. So Humayun became a king without a kingdom. What his father had so carefully built with so much of difficulty was lost by him in a jiffy. And he was in a very precarious situation. He did not know what to do, whom to trust. I told you he was a bad judge of men. And his wife, Hamida Banu Begum, was pregnant. So she was carrying the yet to be born Akbar in her tummy. And Humayun had lost everything, and he was running from pillar to post, trying to seek help. And then he approached this Rajput king called Rana Prasad Singh Virasal of Amarkot or Umerkot, which is now in Sindh, Pakistan. So he approaches this ruler of Amarkot, now also called Umerkot, which is now in Sindh, Pakistan. And Rana Prasad Singh Virasal. Rana Prasad Singh Virasala. So that was the name of this Rajput king. And looking at the condition of Humayun's wife, who was pregnant, and the time for delivery was very near, the Rajput king took pity on Humayun and his wife and gave him asylum, gave him protection in his kingdom. And there, in the year 1542, in the palace of Rana Prasad Singh Virasal, was born Akbar. So Akbar was born in 1542 there at Amarkot or Umerkot. Right now, Sher Khan, who had taken the title of Sher Shah now, came to know about this fact that this Rajput king had given asylum to Humayun. So he sent warnings to the king, stating that if he continues to give asylum to Humayun, his kingdom will be attacked and conquered. So therefore, the Rajput king, asked Humayun to get out of his kingdom, because otherwise his kingdom would be attacked. And Humayun also understood that that Rajput Raja is helpless. So therefore, he asked only one thing from the Rajput king: "Can I leave behind my wife and baby Akbar, with you under your caretakership?" And the Rajput king agreed. So, leaving behind his wife Hamida Banu Begum and young baby Akbar, Humayun went away to Persia, Iran, and there he sought the help of the king of Iran, Shah Tahmasp. So, you remember when I did Babur yesterday's class, Shah Ismail, the king of Iran or Persia, used to help Babur, right? Now, Shah Ismail's son was the Shah Tahmasp. He was now the king of Iran or Persia. And Humayun went and told this king, "Your father used to help my father. Now I have come to ask help from you. You help me, and one day or the other I will return this help." So the king of Iran or Persia put a few conditions before Humayun before he gave help. First of all, Iran or Persia is a Shia country. Even now, majority are Shias in Iran or Persia. So he asked Humayun to convert himself to Shia, number one. Number two, he told Humayun that he should marry his sister. So the Shah of Persia wanted to give his sister in marriage to Humayun. And then he said that you should take away Kandahar. You should take away Kandahar from Kamran, your stepbrother, and hand it over to me. So these are the three conditions put by the Shah of Persia. Convert himself to Shia sect. Muslim, the Mughals were Sunnis. By sect, they were Sunnis, the Mughals. So Humayun had no choice. He had lost everything. So he converted himself to Shia sect. He married the Shah's sister, and then also agreed to hand over Kandahar from Kamran, his stepbrother. So that is the time when the Shah of Persia gave him a cavalry force of 10,000. 10,000 army. So basically, it was a cavalry force of 10,000. So having lost everything, the best came out of Humayun. So in that period, he had lost everything. We have seen that. So he had given up wine, women, opium, and his only goal was to reconquer Delhi and teach a lesson to his stepbrothers. So the best aspect of Humayun's personality is seen during that period when he had lost everything. So with that army of 10,000 cavalry, Humayun defeated Kamran. He defeated Kamran and snatched away Kabul and Kandahar. Kamran was blinded by Humayun, right? So Kamran was blinded. So he blinded Kamran. As regards Askari was also defeated. Askari was defeated and blinded. So both of them were asked to proceed to Makkah for pilgrimage, for Hajj pilgrimage. And Hindal already had been killed by Kamran. So, so he has defeated all his three stepbrothers, but he refused to hand over Kandahar to the Shah of Persia. He kept Kandahar with him. 15 years had passed by. So in all this, when all these things happened, 15 years had passed by, and and then after 15 years, in 1555 or so, he attacks Delhi. Sher Khan or Sher Shah Sur, who had established the Suri dynasty, died in 1545. You see, 1540, Sher Shah becomes the king at Delhi, establishes a Suri dynasty. In the Battle of Chausa Buxar, 1539, Humayun was defeated. And then in the Battle of Kannauj or Bilgram also, he was defeated. So, Battle of Kannauj or Bilgram happened in 1540, right? Just hold on. Yeah. So, 1540. So, he ruled only for 5 years. That is from 1540 to 1545. Who? The Sher Shah. He died in an accident. What was this accident? We have the fort of Kalinjar. Kalinjar is a fort. It was a fort in UP, present-day Uttar Pradesh. And we have the siege of Kalinjar. Sher Shah had attacked Kalinjar to conquer Kalinjar. And you have cannon balls being fired at the fort of Kalinjar. So he was standing next to cannon, an artillery, or a cannon. So there was a gun burst. That is the cannon burst. That was called a gun burst. So it did not fire. There was a misfire, and the cannon exploded. So he was severely burnt in that gun burst, and Sher Shah had died in 1545. His grandson, called Sikandar Shah Sur, was ruling Delhi. So Sher Shah's grandson, Sikandar Shah Sur, was ruling Delhi. So after 15 years, Humayun comes back to India and he attacks Sikandar Shah Sur in the Battle of Sirhind in 1555. We have the famous Battle of Sirhind. In this Battle of Sirhind, Sikandar Shah Sur was killed by Humayun, and Humayun reconquered Delhi and re-established the Mughal Empire. Are you there with me, all of you? Shreyas, this is the fact of history, right? So here he was a king. Humayun was a king. He was from the royal family now, and then generally, royal families will marry into other royal families. So in that sense, the Shah of Persia found him a suitable match for his sister, right? Um, so, uh, so here, in 1555, we have Humayun reconquering Delhi. But then within 8 months of having reconquered Delhi and having re-established the Mughal Empire, Humayun was interested in studies. He used to read a lot. So he had his private library in this building called Purana Killa, Sher Mandal, Sher Mandal at Purana Killa, Delhi. So, having finished his studies, he was coming down the steps of this particular building, Sher Mandal, Purana Killa, Delhi, with a lamp in his hand. And then he tripped and fell down and he died. He tripped and fell down and died within 8 months of reconquering Delhi. Right? So this was the end of Humayun. Now, where was Akbar? Akbar at this point in time was about 13 years 4 months old. He was 13 years 4 months old, young Akbar, and Akbar had been appointed as the governor of Punjab by his father, governor of Punjab. So after reconquering Delhi, Akbar had been appointed as the governor of Punjab, and since he was still a young boy, a trusted officer of Humayun by name Bairam Khan had been deputed by Humayun to take care of Akbar and run the administration of Punjab. So Bairam Khan came to know that Humayun had died in an accident. So at a place called Kalanaur, Bairam Khan crowned Akbar as the emperor. He crowned him as the emperor, and taking the Mughal army, whatever army was there in Punjab at that point in time, taking that army, Bairam Khan marches towards Delhi. So Humayun had died, and Delhi was being taken care by an officer called Tardi Beg. Now, the news of Humayun's death had leaked out. And the king of Bihar, his name was Muhammad Adil Shah Sur, a relation of the Suri dynasty, Muhammad Adil Shah Sur. So this Muhammad Adil Shah Sur, he was the king of Bihar. He had a Hindu commander by name Hemu. So he was a Hindu commander by name Hemu. So Muhammad Adil Shah Sur of Bihar ordered his commander Hemu to attack Delhi and conquer Delhi. So he told Hemu, Humayun has died, it is confirmed. This is the right time to attack and conquer Delhi. So you do that. So Hemu took the army from Bihar and he attacked Delhi. Tardi Beg ran away. And Hemu conquered Delhi and sat on the throne of Delhi with the title Raja Vikramjit. So he called himself Raja Vikramjit. So Delhi again had gone away from the hands of the Mughals. So you have young Akbar along with Bairam Khan marching towards Delhi. By the time they reach Delhi, Delhi again has gone away from the hands of the Mughals. Are you able to relate to the story? Are you able to understand whatever I'm telling you? Can you raise your hands? Yasin, once again. Okay, so just hold on. So we'll come back here. So I said that Humayun suddenly died, and that point in time, Akbar was in Punjab. He was at a place called Kalanaur as the governor of Punjab. And Bairam Khan, a trusted officer of Humayun, crowned Akbar at Kalanaur, and taking the Mughal army, they marched towards Delhi. But by the time they reached Delhi, Delhi again had been conquered by somebody else. That is the king of Bihar. His commander called Hemu had conquered Delhi and sat on the throne of Delhi with the title of Raja Vikramjit. Did you understand, Yasin? Everything is not Akshata. Everything cannot be in there in the PPT, because otherwise it becomes difficult to connect the dots. Whatever is not there, I'm telling you, and apart from whatever is there, apart from that, also I'm telling you. So it's like a story. You listen to it like a story. Go back and read the textbook. Then you'll be able to easily relate to whatever I've told you. Right. So we'll come back here. So here we have the second battle of Panipat, which took place. I will come to that in just a moment's time. 1556, second battle of Panipat. We'll come to that. So here, looking at the way Humayun's life proceeded, Humayun's life was full of ups and downs. So we have a British historian called Lane Poole. Lane Poole, a British historian, quotes looking at the life of Humayun. He tumbled in life. He says he tumbled in life and tumbled out of it. He tumbled in life and tumbled out of it. जिंदगी में पलटी मारता गया और पलटी मारते ही मर गया. Okay, so he tumbled in life and tumbled out of it. That's what he says in Lane Poole. So here, Humayun has, other aspects of Humayun's rule. He founded the city of Deenpana. Deenpana, the sixth city of Delhi, was founded by him, also called Shergarh. So this is the Shergarh of Delhi. This is the sixth city of Delhi, built by Humayun. And inside the Humayun, and of course, 8 years after the death of Humayun, we have his favorite wife who built a tomb for him. That is called Humayun's tomb. So it was built after 8 years after his death by Hamida Banu Begum. So Hamida Banu Begum, that is Akbar's mother, built a tomb for her husband 8 years after his death. And this is where the Mughal architecture begins from. Mughal architecture begins from here with this particular monument. Mughal architecture begins from here with the Humayun's tomb. And this is considered to be the precursor of the Taj. Many of the design elements of Humayun's tomb have been copied in the Taj. So it is considered to be a precursor of the Taj. It was built entirely by architects from Central Asia. So architects from Central Asia, masons from Central Asia, they came and built this particular building. So as you can see, it is made of red sandstone, but the dome is marble. The dome is marble. The dome is made of marble, but then the rest of the building is made of red sandstone. So it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Humayun's tomb. Right? So now one more thing. When Humayun was in Persia, he met two painters, Mir Said Ali Tabrizi, Khwaja Abdul Samad. Mir Said Ali Tabrizi, as you can see on your screen, and Khwaja Abdul Samad. So he was very impressed with their paintings. So Humayun told these two painters, if destiny wills and I reconquer Delhi and re-establish the Mughal Empire, you come to my court. I will make you my court painters. After 15 years, destiny had played its role and Humayun had reconquered Delhi, re-established the Mughal Empire. And these two painters came and sought employment under Humayun. And Humayun appointed them as his court painters. Right? So this is about Humayun. And then, of course, we have Akbar coming to power. So you can see This is Akbar, 1556 to 1605, who ruled for almost 45 years. Akbar, the greatest of the, considered to be the greatest of the Mughals. So when his father died, Humayun, when his father Humayun died, Akbar was just 13 years, 4 months old. He was just 13.4 years old, and he was crowned at a place called Kalanar. You can see by Bairam Khan. So he was born at Umarkot, as you can see on your screen, now in Sindh in 1542. Real name Abdul Fath Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, crowned at Kalanar in the Punjab. This is the space, this is the spot. You can see that platform there. It was in the newspapers some time back. So I put that photo from there. So this is the spot, exact spot where I believe Akbar was crowned by Bairam Khan. So taking the Mughal army, Bairam Khan marches towards Delhi. But I told you, Delhi already had been conquered by Hemu, the commander of the king of Bihar. Then happened the second battle of Panipat, 1556. The second battle of Panipat. Okay, so second battle of Panipat, right? So if you see, I'm sure many of you must have seen that movie Jodha Akbar. Jodha Akbar movie, right? So Jodha Akbar movie. It's not a tomb. That was the place where he was crowned at Kalanar, at a place called Kalanar. Yeah. So that movie, Jodha Akbar, if you see, it starts with a war scene. It starts with a war scene. So this is the second battle of Panipat. Akbar was still a young boy, and Bairam Khan had to face Hemu. Bairam Khan, who fought against Hemu. Akbar was only a mute spectator to this particular battle because he was still a young boy. Now, Hemu was a veteran of 100 battles. He was a veteran of 100 battles. He had not been defeated in 100 battles. And it was a foregone conclusion as to who would win this battle, because there was no way that Hemu would be defeated, because he was a great commander and veteran of 100 battles. He had won 100 battles. So, whatever army Bairam Khan had, they had to tackle Hemu. And as the battle began, it was Hemu who was having an upper hand. He was sitting on his elephant. Hemu was sitting on his war elephant, and he was conducting the military operations. And the Mughals were running helter-skelter. What they have shown in that Jodha Akbar movie is not exactly correct. That purposely an arrow was aimed at the eyes of Hemu. That is not correct. It was a chance happening. So Hemu was conducting the military operations against Bairam Khan and the Mughals. And the Mughals were losing. It was very evident to everybody that the Mughals were losing, running helter-skelter. And that is a time when something happened. Probably this was destiny. You have thousands of arrows flying across, across various directions in the war. One stray arrow came and hit the eye of Hemu. So he was wearing his helmet. He was wearing his battle gear. All the armor, etc. But somehow it made found a space between his helmet and the nose, and then it went and pierced his eyes. So Hemu was in tremendous pain, and in that pain and confusion, he ordered the Mahot. Mahot is the elephant, pilot, elephant driver, to take the elephant away from the battlefield. And it was a caparisoned elephant. There are hundreds of elephants, isn't it? But this was a caparisoned elephant. Everybody would know that this is the commander's elephant. So the elephant was taken away from the battlefield by the Mahot. And as Hemu's soldiers saw the elephant being taken away from the battlefield, they thought that Hemu had died, and they began to run away. And the Mughals were surprised as to what happened, because they were winning. Hemu's soldiers were winning, and here they are running away, thinking that Hemu has died. So many of the soldiers, please understand, those days, many of the soldiers were mercenary soldiers who's a mercenary soldier who will fight for money, right? He's a mercenary soldier. So if I give him 1 lakh, he will fight for me. If somebody gives him 2 lakh and asks him to fight against me, he will switch loyalties and he will join that person and fight against me. So that's called a mercenary soldier. So they don't have any love towards anybody except money. So once they saw Hemu running away, his elephant being drawn away from the battlefield, these soldiers began to run away. And Bairam, Hemu was caught and later beheaded by Bairam Khan. So this was the second battle of Panipat, and the Mughal Empire was restored. Delhi was reconquered, and the Mughal Empire was restored. Right. So we have Akbar. He was still a young boy. He comes to power in 1560. So this period, 1556, he ascends the throne. But then from 1556 to 60, for 4 years, these 4 years, we have Bairam Khan acting as the regent. Bairam Khan acted as a regent or representative. He was the one who helped Akbar in running the administration. This period of 1556 to 60 is also called petticoat government. It is also called petticoat government. Reason being, we have the women of Akbar's family, Akbar's mother Hamida Banu Begum, Akbar's foster mother Maham Anaga, and the other women of Akbar's family participated in running the administration. So that's why it's also called petticoat government. When Akbar was about 17 years old, we have his foster mother Maham Anaga. So Maham Anaga was the foster mother of Akbar, not the real mother. So she advised Akbar. So you see, Bairam Khan was a military man. He did not have the etiquettes and the manners. And he was a very loyal servant of Humayun. So he did not show the due courtesy or the manners. He did not have the manners to show courtesy or respect to the women. So he was not bothered. So he would come in front of the women, let's say, and then he would not give much respect and he would go away. Not that he was disrespecting, but then he was on his own trip. Now, Mahamanaga noticed this and she's supposed to have advised Akbar. She was afraid that where Bairam Khan might harm Akbar and snatch away the throne from him, because such things have happened earlier. Under the Delhi Sultans, we have seen it, where murders have happened for the throne. So she advised Akbar to go away from Agra to Delhi on a hunting expedition when Akbar was about 17 years old. So listening to his mother, Mahamanaga, Akbar took the army and on the pretext of a hunting expedition, he left Agra, reached Delhi. Once he reached Delhi, he issued a farman. Farman is a royal proclamation. Farman. Issued a farman asking Bairam Khan to proceed to Makkah for pilgrimage, asking him to lay down his weapons and asking him to proceed to Makkah for pilgrimage. So Bairam Khan was surprised at the turn of events. So initially, he tried to resist. He protested and tried to resist. But then he realized that his time was up. So he laid down his sword before Akbar, then took Akbar's permission, and then went away towards Gujarat. He traveled to Gujarat to catch a ship bound for Mecca. So those days, from Gujarat, you have a lot of ships going to Mecca for pilgrimage. So while Bairam Khan was in Gujarat, he was murdered by an Afghan. So that Afghan might have had some reason or grouse against Bairam Khan. So Bairam Khan was murdered by that Afghan. And later, Bairam Khan's widow. So Bairam Khan had a son already. His name was Abdur Rahim Khan-e-Khanan. Abdur Rahim Khan-e-Khanan. So Abdur Rahim Khan-e-Khanan. So he was a son of Bairam Khan. So Abdur Rahim Khan. So here, once Bairam Khan was murdered, Akbar married the widow of Bairam Khan. And Abdur Rahim Khan-e-Khanan, the son of Bairam Khan, became one of the great generals. Later, he became one of the great generals under Akbar. So, and in 1560, Akbar comes to power. From 1560 to 1605, he ruled for 45 years. And Akbar is the one who laid the foundation of the Mughal administration We will deal with Akbar in a detailed manner, the conquest of Akbar, first of all. Then we'll talk about the administrative innovations he brought about, the revenue reforms of Akbar, his religious policy. So these are the various aspects I'll be covering as part of Akbar. Are you there with me, all of you? Clear? Whatever I've done till now, are you clear? Can I move on? Hello? Yeah, Shravani? Okay. Stephen? Okay. Abdul Rahim Khani Khanan. Okay, so we'll come back here. So here, so you can see here on your screen, probably this is the painting of the Second Battle of Panipat. Um, so let us look at the conquest of Akbar. I'll come to the story of Akbar in detail, don't worry. So we'll talk about the conquest of Akbar. I'm not following the script of the PPT, the sequence of order of the PPTs. I'm using my own innovations just to keep you interested and also cover the topic as quickly as possible. Now let us look at the conquest of Akbar. Now, first of all, his first conquest was Malwa. So I have put a chart for your convenience and my convenience also. So if we have which region he conquered, ruler, significance of that conquest. So I made a chart like that. So here you can see on your screen, the first conquest of Akbar was Malwa. Malwa, which is now in Madhya Pradesh. So he conquered around that region of Madhya Pradesh. So he conquers Malwa from Baz Bahadur. This was in 1561. So just 1 year after he came to power. He came to power in 1560. In 1561, he conquers Malwa. And Baz Bahadur became one of the Mansabdars, one of the officers under Akbar. So we'll also discuss Mansabdari system, etc. So just hold on. So he became one of the Mansabdars of Akbar. Then we have Marta and Marwar, rulers of Marwar, Bikaner, Jaisalmer, submitted to Akbar. You see, Akbar gave a privileged position to the Rajputs. Probably he did not forget the secret of his birth. A Rajput king had given shelter to his parents when nobody had come to the assistance of his parents. And he was born in the palace of Raja Prasad Singh Virasal of Amarkot. So Akbar also knew that Rajputs are very, very loyal. You win their loyalty, they'll give their blood for you. They'll give their life for you. So having known that, he used the Rajputs and gave them a privileged position. He told them that if you accept me as your overlord and agree to pay tribute, then I will allow you to rule over your kingdoms. So initially, a few Rajput kings resisted. They did not trust Akbar. They resisted. Akbar defeated them. But once they submitted before Akbar, Akbar gave back their kingdoms and also allowed them to rule on the condition that they accept him as their overlord and pay tribute to him. So he treated the Rajput kings more like zamindars who are loyal to the king as such. So initially, a few Rajput kings defied Akbar, but others submitted. Of course, the Sisodias of Mewar never submitted before Akbar. So we'll come to that. So Marta and Marwar in 1562, he conquers this area. Marwar, Bikaner, Jaisalmer submitted to Akbar. Then we have Garkhatanga and Gondwana, so present-day Madhya Pradesh. You have the Gondi ruler, Rani Durgavati. So you have the Gonds, who are tribes. So Rani Durgavati was the ruler of Garkhatanga and Gondwana. So she defied Akbar. She said she will not submit before Akbar. So Akbar sent an army, and Rani Durgavati died fighting along with her son Bir Narayan. So her son was Bir Narayan. So he also died on the battlefield along with his mother. So then we have Akbar's attack on Chittorgarh in Rajasthan. So this is not the Chittur of Andhra Pradesh. This is Chittor, Chittor in Andhra. In Rajasthan. So Rajasthan. You see, I think yesterday's class I told you, when we did Jauhar, yesterday or day before yesterday's class, Alauddin Khalji and Jauhar, I told you about it. So one famous Jauhar is when Rana Sangram Singh died of battle wounds against Babur in the Battle of Kanwa, and his widow was Rani Karnavati. So Rani Karnavati refused to commit sati because she had to take care of her two sons. But then you have the attack of Bahadur Shah of Gujarat, and she asked help from Humayun. right? But Humayun, of course, he came to help her, but it was too late because he was very far away in Bengal. So he had to conquer Bengal and then come to help Rani Karnavati. So Rani Karnavati committed Jauhar along with thousands of women. And two sons of Rani Karnavati, Vikramaditya and Uday Singh II, Rana Uday Singh. These two boys were taken care by a servant lady, and she brought them up. So this was to continue the lineage of the Sisodias. And now the king of Chittorgarh was this man called Rana Uday Singh II. Did you understand? He is one of the children of Rana Sangram Singh and Rani Karnavati. Rana Sangram Singh fought against Babur. So Akbar wanted to conquer a part of Chittor. So why did he want to conquer Chittor in Rajasthan, a part of Chittor? Because that was the route to Malwa in Gujarat. So the route to Malwa in Gujarat from Agra and Delhi, the route to Gujarat and Malwa passed through Chittorgarh. So he wanted to conquer that area, and also he can make further inroads into the Deccan. If he wants to conquer the Deccan, he can make further inroads through Gujarat. So that's why he was interested in Chittor. But then Rana Uday Singh, so he took an army of 30,000, Akbar, in his younger days. He was 1567-68. Akbar was about, you can see how old was he? He was about, he was in his late 20s or so. So he took an army of 30,000 and attacked Chittorgarh. So Rana Uday Singh II, he had a smaller army, and he had two young boys as his commanders, Jaimal and Patta. No, Jaimal and Patta. So these two boys, Jaimal and Patta, young boys who were the commanders, about 17 years old, they were. They requested the king to escape along with the family. So Rana Pratap was still a young boy. So along with Rana Pratap and the family, Uday Singh escaped. And these two commanders, with an army of just 3,000, decided to stop the Mughal army of 30,000. So within the fort of Chittor, they are defending the fort of Chittor against an Akbar's army of 30,000. And Akbar was determined to conquer Chittor. So they fought bravely, Jaimal and Patta. And then in the evening, so cannonballs were being fired. So there was a lot of damage to the fort wall of Chittor. So in the evening, one of the commanders, that is Jaimal, he was supervising the repair, of the fort. And Akbar, from a far distance, in the evening, in the dusk, the sun had not fully gone down. In the dusk, he noticed workers repairing the fort wall, a part of the fort wall, and one person was standing supervising them. And looking at the dress that person was wearing, the type of dress he was wearing, he understood that man must be somebody important. So Akbar took a gun. He had a gun. So he took aim and he fired. So that bullet went and hit the leg of Jaimal, and Jaimal fell down on the other side of the fort. So that evening, you have Jauhar committed by the women of Chittorgarh. They lost confidence because with great difficulty they were resisting this attack of Akbar. So women committed Jauhar, and Jaimal, having bandaged himself, the bullet was removed. His leg was bandaged, and next day they came out fighting, Jaimal and Patta, and Akbar was on his elephant. And Jaimal and Patta were fighting bravely, killing a number of Mughal soldiers and officers. And Akbar was admiring the bravery of these boys, the way they were fighting. But then they were outnumbered and they were killed. Immediately, Akbar ordered that two statues of Jaimal and Patta sitting on elephants in black marble be made with spears. So they are holding spears sitting on two elephants in black marble, be made and installed outside the main gate of the Agra fort. So as you can see on your screen, this is the dilapidated statues of Jaimal and Patta. So it was earlier outside the main gate of Agra fort, because it is marble, and marble is much more softer compared to granite. So it has withered away. The black marble elephants have withered away, and of course only Jaimal and Patta statues, again in a defaced manner, has come down to us. This has been installed outside the Delhi gate of the Red Fort at Delhi. So in Delhi, we have the Red Fort. It has two gates. One is the Delhi gate and the Lahori gate. So outside the Delhi gate, you have two statues of Jaimal and Patta, which were installed. Right. So a part of Chittor was conquered by Akbar. Then we have, of course, the conquest of Gujarat by Akbar from Muzaffar Shah III. You can see here 1572 to 73. So that is the time when Akbar saw the sea for the first time and he met the Portuguese. So he contacted the Portuguese, he met the Portuguese, and he gave them some trading concessions. And of course, he built the Buland Darwaza at Fatehpur Sikri. So this is the tallest gateway in the world. On your screen, if you see it, this is the Buland Darwaza. 175 feet in height. This is the Buland Darwaza, 175 feet in height. So you see it is on the top of a ridge. So when you discount the height of the ridge, it is about 135 feet. So with the height of the ridge, it is about 175 feet. It even now is the tallest gateway in the world. The Buland Darwaza at Fatehpur Sikri. Fatehpur Sikri was a city built by Akbar. We'll come to that. So it was a city built by Akbar. Then, of course, we have the Akbar conquering Bengal. Bengal was conquered. And then we have the famous Battle of Haldigati. The famous Battle of Haldigati between Akbar and Rana Pratap. So Rana Pratap was the son of Uday Singh II. He was now the king of Mewar, Chittor. And I told you, a part of Chittor had been conquered, not the entire country had been conquered. So with the remaining area, you have Rana Pratap ascending the throne. And he was ruling over that area. And Akbar sent 3 embassies, in fact 4 embassies to the court of Rana Pratap, requesting Rana Pratap to accept his overlordship. Now, before I continue the story, let me tell you one more aspect about Akbar's life, and then I'll continue the story of Battle of Haldigati. Now, you see, Akbar was going on a pilgrimage to the Dargah of Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti at Ajmer. So he was going to the Dargah of Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti. So you have this Chishti saint whose Dargah, whose tomb is there at Ajmer in Rajasthan. So Akbar was going on a pilgrimage to pay respects to the great saint Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti. On the way, he was taking rest somewhere. We have a Rajput Raja. His name was Bharamal Kachwaha. Bharamal Kachwaha. So on his own will, Bharamal Kachwaha, the king of Amer, Amer is the old name of Jaipur. What we now call Jaipur, those days was called Amer. B is silent. Okay, B is silent. So Amer. So Bharamal Kachwaha, Raja Bharamal Kachwaha, comes to Akbar and tells him that he would like to give his daughter Harkabai in marriage to Akbar. Okay, Akbar was surprised because he is a Rajput, a Hindu, and he is coming and he wants to give his daughter in marriage to me. So Akbar thought about it. He pondered over this. And then he thought, this must be the will of Allah, because he was going on a pilgrimage to Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti Dargah, and the father of a daughter is coming and saying that he would like to give his daughter in marriage to him. So he interpreted this as a very good omen, a very good sign of good things happening, or good tidings, and he agreed to marry. So Akbar married Harkabai, the daughter of Bharamal Kachwaha. And Harkabai was given a new name after her marriage, Maryam Uzzamani. Maryam Uzzamani, who later became the mother of Jahangir, the next emperor, Jahangir. So she became the mother of Salim, who took the title of Jahangir. Okay. Now, what they show in that movie is also is not correct. That Jodha Akbar. So I'll not talk about it. It's a commercial cinema. It's not Jodha who was the daughter of Raja Bharamal Kachwaha. It was Harkabai. Jodha was the princess of Jodhpur. Okay, with Marwar, capital, the kingdom of Marwar, with Jodhpur as capital. So Akbar is also supposed to have married Jodha Bai, but then he married Harkabai in this case. Okay, now we'll come back here. So he marries Harkabai, and Bharamal's son, understand this, Bharamal's son was Raja Bhagwant Das, who later succeeded Raja Bharamal Kachwaha, and Raja Bhagwant Das' son was Mansingh. Hello, are you there with me? So, Anjali, don't talk about the commercial cinema. Don't get confused with commercial cinema. What is there in history books, I'm telling you. Okay. Did you understand? So, Raja Bharamal Kachwaha's son was Raja Bhagwant Das, and Raja Bhagwant Das' son was Raja Rana Mansingh, Raja Mansingh. So, they served Akbar. They joined Akbar's administration, and they served Akbar's administration in the army, in the army as Mansabdars, and they shed blood for Akbar. These people, Raja Bhagwan Das and Raja Rana Mansingh, Raja Mansingh. Right. Now, we'll come back here. So we have the famous Battle of Haldigati. Akbar sent 4 embassies to placate Rana Pratap. So what was the order given by Akbar? That Rana Pratap should submit to Akbar, that he should accept Akbar as his overlord. Rana Pratap defied Akbar. He said nothing doing. So which are the 4 embassies sent by Akbar? First embassy was under Jalal Khan Kurchi. So he was a very close minister of Akbar. So, and a friend of Akbar, Jalal Khan Kurchi went and he requested Rana Pratap. Rana Pratap said nothing doing. I would not submit before Akbar. Then Mansingh was sent. Then Mansingh's father went, Raja Bhagwant Das went. And then ultimately Raja Todarmal, who was the revenue minister of Akbar, he also was sent. And every time Rana Pratap defied Akbar. Then Akbar sent an army under his commander Mansingh against Rana Pratap. And then happened the famous battle of Haldigati. Why it's called Haldigati? I believe it was a ghat. Ghat is a valley, Ghati. And the mud of that area was like haldi, turmeric. The color of the mud is turmeric. So that's why called Haldi Ghati. So with a large army, Mansingh attacked Chittor, and Rana Pratap, is associated with his horse called Chetak. So, so here you have Rana Pratap, who was astride his famous horse called Chetak. So you have the Mughals making a breach in the fort wall of Chittor. They were able to make a hole in the fort wall with their cannons, and they entered the first fort of Chittor. And Rana Pratap was on his horse called Chetak, and so he came out riding. He came out riding before this, and then you see on your screen, you have two paintings are there. So here you have this Chetak, which was a Kathiawari colt. It was a Kathiawari bred horse, Kathiawari colt. An Arab trader, I believe, had brought 2 horses. One was Chetak, the other was Natak. Another horse was Natak. And he was charging a very huge price for these 2 horses. And he told Rana Pratap that these 2 horses are very special, and it suits your stature. It suits your stature. Therefore, he would want to sell these 2 horses at a very high price. And Natak, the first horse, performed a number of daring feats, impressing Rana Pratap. But what happened was Natak got injured. And so therefore, while performing those feats, Natak got injured, and it could not run after that. So Rana Pratap decided to choose Chetak. He chose Chetak as his mount. And this was a trained horse. So when the battle began, we have Rana Mansingh on the elephant. You can see here, he is sitting on the elephant. So I believe this is what history books tell us, and this is what even this particular, board, as you can see on your screen, there's a board put. So this board by the government also says the same thing. I'm repeating the same. So I believe the horse stood on its hind legs. Okay, it was a tall horse, so it stood on its hind legs, and with its hoofs, the front legs, it hammered the head of the elephant. And the elephant of Mansingh was shocked. So it threw off the rider. That is Mansingh. The elephant was shocked, and it shook so badly that Mansingh he fell down from the elephant. So this was the time when Rana Pratap threw the spear at Mansingh, when his horse hammered the head of the forehead of the elephant. The spear missed Mansingh, and it hit the Mahot. So the Mahot was killed. And Mansingh fell down from the elephant. Quickly, his bodyguards surrounded him, gave him protection. So Mansingh mounted another horse, and he continued the fight. If mounted a horse, and he continued the fight. And of course, you have the Mughals breaching the fort wall of Chittorgarh. They entered. So Rana Pratap somehow escaped on his horse Chetak, and he was closely followed by the Mughal soldiers. But when this happened, when the elephant's forehead was hammered by the horse, it was grievously wounded. The horse was wounded. With great difficulty, it managed to jump across a stream, and then it lay down because it could not run further, and Chetak died. So Rana Pratap is supposed to have wept profusely. He wept when he lost his favorite horse because it had saved his life. So the Indian Army, Air Force helicopter, Indian Air Force helicopter is named Chetak after this particular horse, right? So this is the story of the Battle of Haldighati. So what happened ultimately? Rana Pratap was defeated. Rana Pratap was defeated, but he continued, and a part of Chittor was again conquered by Akbar. We have a place called Golgunda. He makes Golgunda, not Golconda, this is Golgunda. So he makes Golgunda his capital, and from there he engaged in guerrilla warfare against Akbar. So till the end, Rana Pratap defied Akbar. But please understand, after 1585, Akbar never sent any campaign against Rana Pratap. He weakened him. He defeated him. He weakened him, but he did not, after 1585, send a campaign against Rana Pratap. So this is about Battle of Haldighati, the famous Battle of Haldighati, and you can see on your screen. This is the Chetak Smarak in Rajasthan, where the horse is supposed to have been buried. Now, Akbar is the second man in the history of India to conquer or establish the scientific defensive frontier. So he is the second man in the history of India to establish the scientific defensive frontier. What is the meaning of this? The conquest that is the natural boundaries of India end here. The conquest of Kabul, Kandahar, Sindh, and Baluchistan. So he conquered all these four areas, thus establishing the scientific defensive frontier. That is where the natural boundaries of India end. Of course, now they are in Pakistan and Afghanistan, Kabul, Kandahar, Sindh, and Baluchistan. But those days they were all part of India, right? So he's the second man in the history of India to establish the scientific defensive frontier. So you might ask, obviously, who was the first? Mauryas. Mauryas were the first to do it. They conquered these areas, these four areas. The second was, of course, Akbar, Emperor Akbar. And the third and the last was the English East India Company. The English East India Company. So Akbar was the second man in the history of India to establish a so-called scientific defensive frontier by conquering all these things. Okay, Kabul, Kandahar, Sindh, Baluchistan. Kabul, Kandahar, okay, of course, Sindh and Baluchistan. Now, then, of course, we have the attack of Akbar's half-brother. I told you Humayun had many wives and from them many sons. One of his stepbrothers, Akbar's stepbrother, was this man, Mirza Muhammad Hakim. Mirza Muhammad Hakim. He was the stepbrother of Akbar. So some of the rebels instigated Mirza Hakim to attack India. So Mirza Muhammad Hakim, instigated by these rebels from Kabul, he attacked India, but Akbar was able to defeat him. And later Mirza Muhammad Hakim sought pardon from Akbar, and Akbar pardoned him also. Right? Now, one more thing I forgot to mention. Half brother or step brother? Akshata. Now, the first conquest of Akbar, as you can see on your screen, was Malwa. We have just now discussed that. Baz Bahadur was the king of Malwa, and Akbar made him a Mansabdar later. Now, Malwa was given in charge of a person called Adham Khan by Akbar. So once Malwa was conquered, Malwa was kept under the charge of Adham Khan. So who was Adham Khan? Adham Khan was the son of Maham Anaga. Maham Anaga. Okay, he was the son of Maham Anaga. So once he became the governor of Malwa, Adham Khan began to commit all sorts of atrocities on the people of Malwa, particularly the women of Malwa. And Akbar came to know about this, that Adham Khan was ill-treating, molesting the women of Malwa. And he was also not showing the accounts properly as to what was the income and what was the expenditure, etc. So once you have Adham Khan coming to Agra, and Akbar, you have the Agra fort, which was built by Akbar, and inside the Agra fort you have a harem where women were kept, and in that harem Akbar had 5,000 women. 5,000 women were there in Akbar's harem at Agra. So nobody is allowed into the harem except the emperor. So this Mahamanaga's son Adham Khan barged into the harem without the permission of Akbar, and nobody is allowed to enter the harem as such. At the same time, when Akbar had asked him to furnish the accounts of Malwa, he refused to furnish those accounts. So Mahamanaga was the foster mother of Akbar, true, but then Adham Khan was showing signs of rebellion, and he was disrespecting and disregarding Akbar. So when he entered the harem, defying Akbar, Akbar got very wild. So he ordered his soldiers to catch hold of this Adham Khan and take him to the top of the Agra fort and push him from there. So the soldiers, beat up Adham Khan, took him to the top of the Agra fort, and he was dropped from there, from the top of the fort, and that fellow fell down. Now, no, that is the palace. You have the palace inside, and from the palace ramparts, he was pushed down. So that fellow fell down. Akbar is supposed to have asked his soldiers, has he died? Is his body still shaking? So they said his body is still shaking, sir. He's struggling. He's not yet died. So bring him up. So again, they went down. They brought his body. He was still alive. So he was brought up again and thrown down like a ball. And Adham Khan died. Mahamanaga was very, very upset, of course. She lost her son. But then Adham Khan could have been a threat to Akbar's throne. And therefore, he killed Adham Khan. So this I forgot to tell you. Right, we'll come back here. So Akbar is the second man in the history of India to establish a scientific defensive frontier. You can see here he conquered all these areas. And the last conquest of Akbar was Asirgarh. Asirgarh was conquered in 1601. So before that, Akbar sent embassies to the Bahmani sultans. So we have four, the Bahmani kingdom. We'll come to that when I do Vijayanagara. So Bahmani kingdom was established in 1347. I'll use another page. So 1347, Bahmani kingdom was established by Hassan Gangu. Right? 1336, Vijayanagara was established. You all know that. Right? And this Bahmani kingdom later split up into 5 states. How it split up, I'll tell you when I come to that topic. So it split up into 5 states. That is Bijapur, the Adil Shahis of Bijapur, the Qutub Shahis of Golconda, the Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, the Barid Shahis of Bidar, the Imad Shahis of Birar. So these are the four, Bahmani kingdoms. So Akbar sent embassies to these Bahmani kingdoms, asking them to submit to him. And all these defied Akbar. They refused to submit to Akbar. So therefore, Akbar sent an army against. What was the reason why they defied Akbar? The reason is they were also pretty powerful. They were pretty strong. At the same time, the distance between Agra, Delhi to the south was very, very huge. So probably the distance emboldened them to defy Akbar. So Akbar sent an army under his son Danial, Prince Danial. So Prince Danial and Ahmednagar was attacked. Ahmednagar was ruled by Chand Bibi, a queen called Chand Bibi. So you have Madanna and Akkana, two ministers under Chand Bibi. They fought against the Mughals. Guerrilla warfare was used, but then they blamed Chand Bibi for the attack of Akbar. A part of Ahmednagar was conquered from Chand Bibi by Akbar, right? So this is an attack on Ahmednagar. A part of it was conquered. Was the next. The last conquest of Akbar was Asirgarh in 1601 in the south again, in the northwest Maharashtra, present day northwest Maharashtra, Asirgarh. So these are the conquests of Akbar, right? And Akbar died in 1605. Akbar dies in 1605. He was buried at Sikandara near Agra. He was buried at Sikandara near Agra, right? So this was the end of Akbar. These are the conquests of Akbar. So we'll come to other aspects of his rule. Yasin, gorilla, not gorilla, it's guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla is hit and run warfare, not gorilla. English is a funny language, so I don't blame you. Guerrilla warfare. Okay, guerrilla warfare. The spelling is different, not gorilla. Gorilla you find in zoos. So we'll come back here. So administration of Akbar. So Akbar was the one who laid the foundation of the Mughal administration. He was the one who divided the empire into various administrative divisions. So let us look at the administrative innovations brought about by Akbar. So before that, I'll come to that. You can see on your screen. You see on your screen. So Akbar divided the empire into provinces. Provinces were subdivided into districts. Districts into parganas, something like a taluk, and then finally village. Right? So on your screen, all of you. So here you have the empire divided into provinces. Provinces were called subas. So in 1580, there were 12 subas, right? Then and by the time Akbar died, when did Akbar die? 1605. By the time Akbar died, the number of provinces had increased to 15. The number of provinces had increased to 15 because Akbar had conquered new areas. So you have new provinces. Under Shah Jahan, there were 19 subas, and under Aurangzeb, there were 21 subas. So the number of subas kept on increasing. But it was Akbar who divided the empire into a number of provinces called Suba. Okay? So this Suba was under a governor called Subedar, or also called Sipa Salar or Naim. So Subedar, Sipa Salar or Naim. And please understand, Akbar tried to maintain balance of power. So he established balance of power in these administrative divisions of what he created, balance of power. What is the meaning of balance of power? All the power should not be in the hands of one person, because then that person will become arrogant and he can misuse the powers. Therefore, he appointed two officers of equal rank. He appointed two officers of equal rank in the provinces, in the districts, as well as in the parganas. Okay, so that they can balance each other out. Now, Subadar was assisted by a Fauzdar. So he is the officer who assisted the Subedar in the discharge of his executive functions and in the maintenance of peace. So Fauzdar's position was equal to that of the Subedar, right? And the Subedar was denied the right to inflict capital punishment, that is death sentence. The Subedar could not give death sentence. So the highest authority, the highest judicial authority was of course Akbar. They have to approach the emperor. Now in every Suba, Akbar appointed a few officers. So all of you are there with me? So why the scientific defensive frontier has been named so? Because the natural boundaries of India end there. That's why it's called scientific defensive frontier. The natural boundaries of India end there. So all of you clear till here? Can I move on? Thank you. We'll come back here. So here, now Akbar appointed in all the subas all these officers. A divan. So there was a divan. You can see this is divan. So divan was in charge of finance. So I'm using a smaller pen because of dearth of space here. Okay, so please be alert. Divan was in charge of the finance, of the financial aspects of that particular province. Bakshi was in charge of the army. Bakshi was in charge of the army in that province. Sadar, he was in charge of the religious affairs. Right? You have a Qazi who was a judge, Islamic judge, Qazi. Then we have Vakyanavis. Vakyanavis was the news reporter. Bayutat, keeper of government property and official trustee. Muhtasib, censor of public morals. Muhtasib means censor of public morals. What's the meaning of that? As a Musalman, as a true Musalman, you are supposed to pray 5 times in a day, go to namaz on a Friday, Jummah day. You're not supposed to drink, smoke, or engage in bhang and such things. So this officer called Muhtasib kept a watch on those Muslims who and they would be punished if they were defying or not following the Islamic law properly. So Muhtasib, censor of public morals. So you have a common system of administration introduced by Akbar in all the provinces. These are the officers who were common. So you have a Subedar assisted by a Fauzdar, and also you have a Divan, a Bakshi, a Sadar, a Qazi, etc. Right? Did you understand? Then we come down. Administrative hierarchy. From provinces were subdivided into districts. Districts were called Sarkar. And there we have an officer called Amil, or also called Munsif or Amal Guzar. He was in charge of the revenue administration of the district. So district was called Sarkar. And the Amil was assisted by a Khazanadar. Khazana is treasure, isn't it? So treasurer, Khazanadar, Karkuns were clerks and accountants, and Kotwal was a chief of city police. Chief of the city police was the Kotwal. These were the officers at the district level. Then we come down from the district to the taluk, something like a taluk called Pargana. What is a Pargana? A group of villages. So nowadays you have a village at the bottom, then you have a group of villages that will form a taluk, right? And then a group of taluks will form a district. Then you have a division in many states, division, and then finally state, and then center. Like that, you have a taluk, Pargana. So here you have a Pargana under a Shikdar. The Kanango was the revenue head of the taluk, who assessed the revenue. He assessed the land revenue. Okay, gave loans, Takavi loans to farmers to dig up wells, to buy seeds, etc. So that is called Takavi loan. So he gave Takavi loans to farmers, maintained the records. This Kanango. And this Kanangos was a hereditary office, as you can see. It was a hereditary office. Kananga was called Desai in Deccan and Gujarat. So Kananga was called Desai in these two areas, Deccan and Gujarat. Then we have a Daroga at the taluk level. He was the police head. Like, for example, district head of police is the superintendent of police, SP, isn't it? Taluk level, you have a DYSP, of that rank. He will be the head of the taluk level as a police department. So here you have a district level head of police called Kotwal. Daroga was the police head at the taluk level. Right. Now, the Fauzdar, you can see the Fauzdar assisted the Subedar at the provincial level. But then the Fauzdar was in charge of a number of parganas, but not usually an entire district. So Fauzdar, apart from helping the Subedar at the provincial level, was in charge of a number of parganas, but not an entire district. And the lowest level in the administrative hierarchy was a village, okay, under a village headman. Okay, generally he was hereditary again, village headman. And he was assisted by a Patwari. Patwari was accountant who maintained the revenue record called Bahi, revenue book. That is, which farmer is supposed to pay how much of land revenue, etc. All those details are mentioned in the book called Bahi or Bihi. It's also called Bihi. So this is the foundation of the Mughal administration laid by Akbar. Akbar was an illiterate man, mind you. He was illiterate, but then he had a lot of common sense and he was able to laid the foundation of the Mughal administrative structure. Are you clear with me? Yeah, the Islamic law I told you, you're not supposed to drink, smoke in Islam. Then you're supposed to pray for 5 times in a day. So anybody violating that would be punished by the muhtasib, censor of public morals. See, these terminologies are very difficult to remember, but UPSC can ask that, Sham, have asked it. So know it. No. Practice, write down. When you write down, things remain in your mind. Mind will not go here and there. So write down. When you write down, then everything will be okay. Okay. All right. Can I move on? So this is the foundation of the Mughal administration led by Akbar. So the Kotwal was in charge of, you can see here, the Kotwal was in charge of town administration. So we have other administrative designations or officers. Diwan or Wazir was in charge of finance department. The Mir Bakshi was in charge of the military department, but he was not the CNC. What is CNC? Commander in chief. He was not the commander in chief. He was only the paymaster general. That is, he paid the salaries of the soldiers and officers. He was not the commander in chief, the Mir Bakshi. So he was the head of the military department, but not commander in chief. So when the emperor was on the battlefield, automatically he was the commander in chief. If the emperor is sending a campaign, then he can appoint somebody else as the commander of the army, right? Then Emir Saman, in charge of the imperial household, the imperial palace, and all that, is called Mir Saman. Sadr was in charge of religious affairs. Qazi was the judicial head of the Muslims, for Muslim law. He implemented Muslim law. He was a Muslim Islamic judge, Qazi. So this is about administration of Akbar. As you can see, he divided the empire into provinces. There were 12 subas in 1580. By the time Akbar died, that is by 1605, the number of subas increased to 15. Under Shah Jahan, there were 19, and under Aurangzeb, 21 subas. And the pattern of administration at the capital was repeated in the suba. Okay, and the center directly appointed the officials of the provinces, districts, and the parganas. They were all appointed by the central government, though the Kanango's position was hereditary. Right? Now, let us come to other aspects of Akbar's rule. Let us talk about the Mansabdari system. Let's talk about the Mansabdari system. Yes, Satyam, yes. Akbar was copying the administrative reforms of Sher Shah. To a large extent, he copied it. We'll come to Sher Shah Suri later. We'll come to that. But he brought about changes suiting his particular rule. Not that everything was copied. Inspiration came from there, but many ideas were Akbar's own ideas. Now, let us talk about the Mansabdari system. Now, Akbar divided the Mughal administration into he divided the Mughal administration and assigned ranks to his officers called mansabs. So, except the officers in the judicial, except the officers in the judicial and religious departments, understand this please, except officers in the judicial and religious departments, all the other officers in all the other departments were given ranks called mansabs. Mansab means rank. These ranks numbered from 10 to 10,000. That is that is thus or to the Hazari. The Hazari. To the Hazari. So all the officers were given ranks in all the departments except judicial and religious departments. And these ranks numbered minimum from 10 to 10,000. To the Hazari. Now, the Mansab system itself was divided into two parts. Mansab itself was divided into two parts. That is Zat and Sawar. Understand this. Zat and Sawar. Zat and Sawar. Zat and Sawar. Now, what is this Zat? Zat determined the status and salary of the Mansabdar. Say, for example, are you there with me? Please be alert in this part of the class. Be very alert because this is a little technical or revenue reforms of Akbar, the Mansabdari system, very important, and UPSC keeps on asking questions from these areas. So be very careful. Try to understand. Any doubts? Ask me. Now, what is this Zat? Now, you see nowadays you have group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, isn't it? Or class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Class 1 officer, he can sign in green color, ink. Class 4 would be the peons, etc. Right? So, likewise, you have the Mansab system was divided into two categories, Zat and Sawar. Zat determined the salary and status of the Mansabdar. Okay. That is, what was the salary of the Mansabdar and what was his status in the administration. So that was determined. So that determined the status and salary of the Mansabdar. And Sawar rank determined the number of horses, number of troopers with horses and equipment to be maintained by a Mansabdar. Number of troopers, understand this, with horses and equipment, to be maintained by a Mansabdar. Right. Now, what is the meaning of this Sawar rank? Number of troopers. Who is a trooper? A trooper is somebody who will sit on the horse and fight. So he is unlike an infantry soldier. Infantry soldier is, he will fight on the foot. Infantryman, he's on the, he is walking and he is fighting, running and fighting, walking and fighting. Whereas unlike a trooper who has to sit on the horse and fight. So he's called a trooper. So Sawar rank determined the number of troopers with horses and equipment to be maintained by a Mansabdar. Now, this Mansab, so here please understand, we have, let us say, a Mansabdar of 5,000 Zat and 5,000 Sawar, or 500 Zat, a Mansabdar of 500 Zat and 500 Sawar. So this Mansabdar of the rank of 500 should maintain a certain number of horses, elephants, mules, carts, soldiers, etc. For example, let's say a Mansabdar of 500 Zat and 500 Sawar should maintain, let us say, Um, elephants. He has to maintain elephants. Let us say bullock carts. So carts. Then camels, soldiers. So let us say he has to maintain 10 elephants. Carts. Let us say 50 carts. Camels. Let us say 25 camels. Soldiers. Let us say 1,000 soldiers. So this was fixed. Right. So Zat determined the status and salary of the Mansabdar, and Sawar rank determined the number of troopers with horses and equipment to be maintained by a Mansabdar. Now, if I take, are you clear with me? So, not Jat, it is not Jat, Kushdeep, Zat, Zat, right? Zaat. Now, Qazi was only the judge for the Muslims. That's why I said Islamic judge, Rajesh. I have already cleared that doubt. Islamic judge. We'll come back here. Now, no, Deepesh, don't ask me such questions. From where elephants and camels came? No, they'll come. No, where will you find elephants in the forest? So they are captured and trained and inducted into the Mughal army. So camels also found in Rajasthan. They will be brought from there. Okay, hired from there because camels are also used in war during those days. So don't go into those details. You come here, come back here. Now, uh, if the Zat increased, the Zat and the Sawar rank increased, the liability also increased upon that particular Mansabdar. For example, let's say there's a Mansabdar of 5,000 Zat. Okay, so it's 5,000 Zat and 5,000 Sawar. Now, this particular Mansabdar is of a higher rank than the Mansabdar of 500 Zat. So this 5,000 Zat and 5,000 Sawar Mansabdar has to maintain more elephants, more number of elephants, more number of carts, more number of camels, more infantry, more horses and with troopers, etc. So the liability increased. Are you clear with me till here? Now, the Mansab system was divided to three. There were three levels of Mansabdars. Rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. So the highest category of Mansabdar was whose Zat rank was equal to that of the Sawar rank. He was in category 1. So make a chart like this. So category 1 Mansabdar. Okay, let us say, for example, he has a rank of 500 Zat and 500 Sawar. So he came in the first category. So those whose Zat ranks were equal to their Sawar ranks. Understand this. Those whose Zat ranks were equal to the Sawar rank was called the first category Mansabdar, the highest. Then we come to the second category Mansabdar. Understand this. Those whose Sawar rank were more than half of the Zat rank. Those whose Sawar rank were more than half of the Zat rank. What is the half of 500? What is half of 500? 250, obviously. So now look here. So now, so here, second category Mansabdar, 500 Zat, more than half. Half of 500 is 250. More than half, let us say 300. This is second category Mansabdar. So those whose Sawar ranks were more than half of the Zat rank. Okay, then third category Mansabdar. Third category Mansabdar, those whose Zat rank, those whose Sawar rank was less than half of the Zat rank. Half of Zat is, in this example I have taken, 250 is the half of Zat. No, 250 is the half of 500. Less than 250 is, let us say, 200. This is the third category Mansabdar. So remember this, there were three categories of Mansabdars. Those whose Sawar ranks were equal to their Zat rank. For example, 500, 500. First category Mansabdar. Second category Mansabdar, those whose Sawar ranks were more than half of the Zat rank. That is second category Mansabdar. The third category Mansabdar, those whose Sawar rank were less than half of the Zat rank. Third category Mansabdar. So here, are you clear with me? Right. Now, are you there with me, all of you, till here, till now? Now, the Zat rank was more important than the Savar rank. It's not confusing, Udayanani. Focus whatever I'm telling you. Okay. Focus and then you'll understand. Now, I'll repeat it. Just hold on. I'll repeat whatever I told you. Told till now. I'll repeat it. Now, the Zat rank was more important than the Savar rank. Zat rank was more important when compared to the Savar rank. There could be a Mansabdar with only a Zat rank, but without a Savar rank. There could be a Mansabdar with only Zat rank, okay, but no Savar rank, But we could never have a Mansabdar having um, uh, uh, only a Savar rank. He has to have a Zat rank. So Zat rank was more important than the Savar rank. So Mansabdar, there could be a Mansabdar with only a Zat rank but no Savar rank. But never a Mansabdar with only a Savar rank, without a Zat rank. Are you able to understand? So Zat was more important than the Savar. Yeah, all animals have to be maintained, Dipesh. Yeah, cattle, no, not cattle, Baba. Whatever is used in war, camels, bullock carts, with oxen, of course, and then, yeah, cattle, yeah, all those things. Now, the Mansabdars, okay, you want me to show the PPT? Just hold on. You just focus on what I'm telling you. I'll show you the PPT. Now, Mansabdars were paid in either cash or in the form of lands. Those Mansabdars who were paid in cash were called Nakdi. Nakdi Mansabdar. NAQ, Nakd. Nakd is, in Hindi, Urdu, Paisa, Paisa. So they were called Nakdi Mansabdars. And those Mansabdars who were paid in the form of land grants were called Jagirdars. So they were given Jagirs. You remember Ikta system? You remember Ikta system of Iltutmish? So here you have the Iqtadar, who was the holder of an Iqta. He had been given a portion of the territory over which he'll maintain law and order, collect land revenue, and act as a judge. Similarly, here you have a Mansabdar who was paid in the form of a Jagir or a land grant, right? So a Mansabdar was also a Jagirdar. But then please understand, all Jagirdar were not necessarily Mansabdars. I would say all Mansabdars were Jagirdars, but all Jagirdars were not necessarily Mansabdars. Now let me explain that part. So I'll write again here, all Mansabdars were Jagirdars, but all Jagirdars were not necessarily Mansabdars. Now, what is the meaning of this? So Mansabdar is given a salary. Many of the Mansabdars, most of them are given Jagirs as their salary. So they were also Jagirdars. But then I said all Jagirdars were not Mansabdars. For example, let us say Akbar is impressed with a particular a poet or a jester. So Akbar is in a bad mood. Jodha said something to him early morning, or Harkabai, had a fight with Akbar. So Akbar is in a bad mood. So he comes to the court, and he's sitting, in a very bad state of mind. He is, and then one joker comes, and he starts cracking some jokes, and Akbar begins to laugh, and he falls down from the throne laughing. So he's so happy, and with a gesture that he wants to reward that jester who has made him happy. So Akbar will give him let us say, a portion of land. No, take this 100 acres is yours, or 5,000 acres is yours. So that person becomes a Jagirdar, but he's not a Mansabdar. He's not holding any rank in the Mughal administration. Did you understand? So all Mansabdars were Jagirdars, but all Jagirdars were not necessarily Mansabdars. समझ में आ गया? Hello, are you there with me, all of you? No, Pratik, there were some Mansabdars who were given a salary in the form of cash. They're called Nakdi Mansabdars. But then there were most of the Mansabdars were given land grants called Jagirs. They were called Jagirdars. Rajesh, what is your doubt? If you say no, what is your doubt? You ask a specific question. I'll try to answer that. So all Mansabdars were Jagirdars, but all Jagirdars were not necessarily Mansabdars. I stick to what I said, Satyam. Or you are saying all Jagirdars were Mansabdars. No, no. I don't just now give you an example. Many of the people got land grants as a gift. So let us say Akbar wants to give inam, gift to somebody. So I gave the example of a jester. He has made Akbar happy. So he gives him let us say 500 acres as a gift. So that person becomes a Jagirdar. He is the owner of a Jagir. But then he is not a Mansabdar. He is not holding any rank in the Mughal administration. So all Mansabdars were Jagirdars, but all Jagirdars were not necessarily Mansabdars. Satyam, I hope I have clarified that. Right? So here, I will come back, Sham. I'll answer your question. Just hold on. So here, please understand. Let us finish this Mansabdar part. Then we'll go to the other aspects of Akbar. I know it's time for a break. Just hold on, because I don't want to, start from where I left off, because many people might be confused. Now, what was the duty of the Mansabdar? Yahan dekhiye, you see on your screen. Let us say this is the Mughal Empire, right? And this is the center. This is the center where the emperor is there. This is the emperor. So he has given away these areas as Jagirs to various Jagirdars, A, B, C, D, etc. Now, this A Mansabdar's duty, what is his duty? His duty is to maintain law and order. So therefore, he has got police functions. He's got an army. He can keep an army, recruit an army, right? And maintain law and order with the help of that army. Then he has got the power of fiscal powers. He's got fiscal powers, the right to collect land revenue. Then he can also act as a judge in that area. Right? Now, the Jagirdar, the Mansabdar who was given Jagirs, did not own any personal property. He did not have any personal property. So, let us say, imagine the power of a district magistrate nowadays, DC or deputy collector, etc. So the government has appointed an IAS officer. Some of you might become IAS officers, hopefully, and I pray that all of you join administration in various capacities. Now, look here. Let's say you have a district magistrate. So he's transferred to a district, and in many cases, he also has magisterial powers. Right? Generally, his duty is to see that law and order is maintained, and then you have revenue collection happening, and also in certain cases he acts as a judge. So similar to the modern day district collector, but then here, please understand, he was transferable, just as the deputy collector is transferable from one district to another district. The Mansabdar was also transferable. So his duty was only to maintain law and order, collect land revenue, and act as a judge in that area. He could not claim right over that area. No, he was transferable. Why did Akbar make the Mansabdar post transferable, so that that person doesn't develop local roots? Let's say there's a person called A, okay, and let's say there's a person called A, this A, and he is a very popular Mansabdar. He's very good. He's very honest. He doesn't commit any atrocities on the people. He's a good judge, and also he's running the administration of that particular area very beautifully. So people are very, very happy with him, and he is the first point of contact with the government. Akbar is sitting in Agra, right now. the Mansabdar A is the first point of contact for the people of that area. So he is their Maibap, or Lord in all respects. Now, and he's got an army there, right? He has got the power to tax, and also he's acting as a judge. So he's virtually a king in that area. And since he's got the support of the people, tomorrow he might become ambitious. He might think, let me declare myself independent and rule this area as a king. So to prevent such complications, Akbar transferred the Mansabdar from one area to another area, except the Rajput Mansabdars. The Rajput Mansabdars were given what is called Watan Jagir. Watan Jagir. That is, let us say, there's a person called, let us say, Z. He is the king of Jaipur or Jodhpur. Let's say he's the king of Jodhpur, Z. And king of Jodhpur, Z, has submitted before Akbar. He said, I have accepted you as my overlord. And he agrees to pay tribute to Akbar. So Akbar will allow Z to rule over his own area, his own kingdom. That is called Watan Jagir, right? And then Z's successors will also rule over that area, provided they agree to the overlordship of the Mughals. So they might accept Akbar as their overlord, and then their successors like Jahangir, Shah Jahan, etc. So that is called Watan Jagir. So Rajputs were given Watan Jagirs, and they were not transferable. Rajput Jagirdar, Mansabdar will be a Mansabdar and a Jagirdar of that area permanently till he dies. He will not be transferred to outside his zone, his ancestral area. Did you understand? Outside his ancestral territory, he will not be transferred. He will be permanently stationed in his Watan Jagir. Such Jagirdars were called Watan Jagirdars. This was a privileged position reserved by Akbar only to the Rajputs. Right? Nakdi is those who were paid in cash, Jyoti. Right? Now, Mansabdars, once the Mansabdar died, please understand, once the Mansabdar died, what happened? All his property was confiscated by the government. It was confiscated by the Department of Baitul Mal. You have a department called Department of Bait ul Mal, and this department confiscated all the property of the Mansabdar. So Mansabdar and his family and relations can enjoy till the Mansabdar is a Mansabdar. He cannot hoard money, He might have, they can live a lot of, they can live a very luxurious life. But once the Mansabdar dies, everything will be confiscated by the government, by the Department of Baitul Mal. Now, this is called Mansabdari system, which was established by Akbar. Right? Now, later what happened is, please understand this part. Later what happened is, we have the so-called Jagirdari crisis, which took place, which was one of the reasons for the decline of the Mughal Empire. Understand this, what is called Jagirdari crisis. Now, what is this Jagirdari crisis, which took place later under the later Mughal rulers, like, for example, under Aurangzeb and after Aurangzeb? What is this Jagirdari crisis? Now, look here on your screen. Akbar has given away certain territories as Jagirs to his officers, to his Mansabdars, like A, B, C, D. These are very fertile areas. Right? So you have Jama and Hasil. You need to know something called Jama and Hasil. What is this Jama and what is Hasil? So Jama and Hasil, yesterday's class, this is used in the context of Mughal revenue administration, Jama and Hasil. Jama is the estimated income from a Jagir, estimated income from a land, estimated income from land. And Hasil is the actual income. So, I told you yesterday that agriculture is subject to the vagaries of nature, the ups and downs of nature. So, Jama is the estimated income. What is the estimate of the farmer? Let us say a farmer is there with 2 acres of land. He estimates that he can get about 100 bags of paddy if everything goes well that year. That is his estimation. But actually, he might get much lesser, or maybe sometimes more also, if everything happens good and fantastic. Then he might get more. But rarely that would happen. Mostly he would get less, because agriculture is subject to the vagaries of nature. So that is called Hasil, actual income. Now, Akbar gave away the most fertile areas to his Jagirdars. A, B, C, D. I've taken the example. So these are the areas given away by Akbar to his Jagirdars, to his Mansabdars as Jagirs. These are fertile areas. Okay. Then came Jahangir, Akbar's son Jahangir. Jahangir gave away these areas to his Mansabdars. So this is Jahangir, who has rewarded his Mansabdars with few more fertile areas as their Jagirs. Then came Shah Jahan. Then came Shah Jahan. So Shah Jahan also rewarded his Mansabdars with Jagirs, fertile areas, right? And then came Aurangzeb. Now you see, as you can see on your screen, so then came Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb had to reward his Mansabdars with Jagirs. So let us say there's a person called 1, there's a person called 2, etc. Now Aurangzeb had to give rewards to his Mansabdars or give them Jagirs, a lot Jagirs. But later what happened is all the fertile areas have been taken away by the other Mansabdars who preceded them under Akbar, and under Jahangir, under Shah Jahan. So what happened is that the actuals were inflated later. Like for example, let's say there's a Mansabdar called uh, A A A B. Let us say there's a Mansabdar called A B, and Akbar Jahangir is sorry. There's a Mansabdar called A B, and Aurangzeb is very very happy with this particular Mansabdar. He wants to give him a Jagir. So he will tell this Mansabdar called AB that I am giving you this territory as your Jagir, and the estimated income, that is Jama, of this area is, let us say, 2 lakh. That is the estimated income from this particular territory or Jagir. So when AB goes there, he's very happy that he's been given a very fertile area. When he goes there and takes charge and he collects revenue, what he sees is he's not getting 2 lakhs, he's getting only 50,000. That is the actual hasil he has got. So he's very, very frustrated with that because what he thought he would get, he was not getting. That is called Jagirdari crisis, which was one of the reasons for the decline of the Mughal Empire also. So this is about Mansabdari system. Mansabdars were transferable from one area to another area, right? And once the Mansabdar died, all the property was confiscated by the government of the Mughals. That is the Department of Baitul Mal. This is Mansabdari system. Are you there with me? So Hasil is actual income. So yeah, Jagirdar was supposed to the Mansabdar. So he will be the holder of the Jagir, and he is supposed to collect taxes from the farmers. Okay, and whatever is the amount necessary for himself for his own expenses, and also for maintaining that army and administration in that area, he will defray the expenses from the gross tax collected, and the rest is sent to the government. It is sent to the emperor. So that is the Mansabdari system. So we'll take a small break here. This is Mansabdari system. I'll look at the other doubts later. We'll take a 15 minutes break and come back. So it's about 8 o'clock now. We'll come back by 8:14, 8:13, let us say. So about 13 minutes break you take. 8:13 we'll meet again. 8:13 a.m. Okay. So take a 15 minutes break and come back. Good morning, everyone. Can we continue? Am I audible and visible? Everybody is back? So, I have discussed about the conquest of Akbar. We have discussed about the conquest of Akbar, the administration of Akbar, how he divided the empire into provinces, districts, parganas, etc. And of course, we discussed the Mansabdari system. So here, Mansabdari system is nothing but that system which was introduced by Akbar, where the officers were divided into where assigned ranks, where the officers were assigned ranks or mansabs. So mansab system was divided into two categories, Zat and Sawar. Zat was it determined the status and salary of the mansabdar, whereas the Sawar rank determined the number of troopers, the number of troopers with horses and equipment to be maintained by a mansabdar. So Zat determined the status and salary of the mansabdar. Sawar rank determined the number of troopers with horses and equipment to be maintained by the mansabdar. Now, there were three categories of mansabdars, as you can see on your screen. Those whose Zat ranks were equal to their Sawar rank. They were the first category of mansabdar. Those whose Zat rank was equal to Sawar rank. Second category of mansabdars, those whose Sawar rank were more than half of the Zat rank. And the third category of mansabdars, those whose Sawar rank were less than half of the Zat rank. So Zat rank was more important than the Sawar rank. There could be a Mansabdar with only a Sawar rank there could be a Mansabdar with only a Zat rank but without a Sawar rank. But never could there be a Mansabdar with only a Sawar rank without a Zat rank. So Zat rank was more important, right? I repeat, there could be a Mansabdar with only a Zat rank but without a Sawar rank. But there never could be a Mansabdar with only a Sawar rank without a Zat rank. Now, the Mansab system was not hereditary. It was the Mansabdaris were transferable from one area to another area so that they don't develop local roots. Once the Mansabdar died, then his property was confiscated by the government of the Department of Baitul Mal. By the government, it would be confiscated, the entire property of the Mansabdar. Now, the Mansabdars were paid in cash. So, some of the Mansabdars were paid in cash. They were called Nakdi Mansabdars or Thankwa Mansabdars. Thankwa, cash. So, they were given cash salaries. They were called Nakdi Mansabdars. And most of the Mansabdars were given a salary in the form of lands. That's called Jagirs. Therefore, they were called Jagirdars. So, most Mansabdars were called also Jagirdars. When I said, I think all earlier in the break, all Mansabdars were Jagirdars. So those Mansabdars who were getting salary in the form of Jagirdars were called Jagirdars. And those who got salary in the form of cash were called Nagdi Mansabdars, right? But there were also some people who, without holding any rank or position in the government, got Jagirs as rewards. So therefore, that's why I said that all Jagirdars were not necessarily Mansabdars, whereas most Mansabdars were also Jagirdars. So this is what I had told you before the break. So we'll continue on further. We'll continue further. Now you see, every Sawar, as you can see on your screen, for every Sawar, the Mansabdar was paid at the rate of 240 rupees per annum, over and above his salary. So for every Sawar, Mansabdar was paid at the rate of 240 rupees per annum, over and above his salary, right? So, and the Sawar rank was distinguished by two special features. One is, for every cavalryman, the Mansabdar had to maintain 20 horses, known as the Bishti system. Okay, and a provision was made that the contingents of the nobles should be mixed ones. Let me explain this. So, Sawar rank was distinguished by two special features. One is called the Bishti system. That is, for every 10 cavalrymen, the Mansabdar had to maintain 20 horses, double the number of horses. Right? What was the reason? Obviously, the horse might get wounded if he only has one horse, and if that horse dies or gets wounded in the battle, or it is pregnant and it is not able to run. So the trooper cannot say, the cavalryman cannot say that my horse is not keeping well, therefore I'm not going to come to battle. So therefore, he was allowed to keep one more horse. That is called Dabishti system. 20 horses for every cavalryman. 10 cavalrymen, 20 horses. And a provision was made that the contingents of the nobles should be mixed ones. That is, I told you when I spoke about Alauddin Khalji yesterday, I told you that you have an Arabian horse which was mixed up which was crossed bred with a local horse, right? And then you get a hybrid horse. So that is called mixed contingents, mixed horses, right? So it was so the overall quality of the horses, the overall quality of the cavalry would increase. So this is the Mansabdari system. Am I there with you? Right? The ranking system I told you, category 1, category 2, category 3. So this is the ranking system. That is true. And this was introduced by Akbar for effecting clean administration. He was he introduced this Mansabdari system for effecting clean administration as such. Now, let us look at other aspects of Akbar's rule. Um, we have the revenue reforms of Akbar. We'll talk about the revenue reforms of Akbar, the land revenue system of Akbar. You see, of course, I'm yet to come to Sher Shah. When I finish the Mughals in a sequential order, I'll go to Marathas also. When I'm doing Aurangzeb, because their destinies were supposed to meet each other. Aurangzeb and Shivaji, their destinies were supposed to meet. So how it happened, I'll tell you. And then, so once I finished Marathas, then I'll come to Sur dynasty of and then we'll discuss the revenue reforms of Sher Shah Sur and what are the various areas where Akbar copied Sher Shah. So we'll talk about that later. So here, initially, please understand, Akbar copied the revenue reforms of Sher Shah, right? So whatever reforms Sher Shah had brought in, he followed those revenue reforms. After that, we have in experiments conducted in 1582. Akbar, a lot of experiments were conducted by two officers. One was Raja Todarmal and Muzaffar Khan Turbati. Raja Todarmal also had served under Sher Shah. So Raja Todarmal and Muzaffar Khan Turbati, they conducted experiments for about 10 years. And finally, a system called the Hasala system or Bandobast system or Zapti system was introduced. So this is with respect to revenue matters. So you please understand, the main source of income for a king is land revenue. From ancient times, the main source of income for a king was land revenue. So Akbar wanted to sort of reach a mean, a mean where he can get a steady source of income coming into the treasury. So you see, agriculture is subject to the vagaries of nature. We all know that. So let us say a farmer is supposed to pay tax. Let us say 2 rupees as tax. Since the rains failed, he may not be able to pay 2 rupees. He may pay 1 rupee. So when thousands and lakhs of farmers, depending upon how the nature has fared, we begin to pay taxes. So there is a lot of ups and downs in the income or the money coming into the treasury. So therefore, Akbar wanted to see that a steady source of income comes into the treasury. So all these experiments were conducted by these two officers. And then we have what is known as the Zapti system or the Bandobast system. It is also called the Todarmal's Bandobast system. So this was introduced, or also called Dahasala system, Aini Dahasala. So called by various names, Zapti system, Dahasala system, Todarmal's Bandobast system. Under this, average produce of different crops, average produce of different crops, and the average prices of those crops prevailing in the last 10 years was taken into consideration. And 1/3 of the average produce fixed in rupees per bigha was fixed as a land revenue. So let me explain this here on your screen. So let's say this is a piece of land. Okay, this is a piece of land. Let us say 2,000 acres. This is 2,000 acres. Or let us say 20,000 acres. This is 20,000 acres. From the last 10 years, what are the various crops grown in this 20,000 acres? That was taken into consideration. So here, let's say, so this is Okay, so these are the various crops like this. Okay, so crop, let's say crop and price. So this was calculated. So for example, paddy, what was the price 10 years back, right, of paddy? Then let us say a wheat, let's say jowar, let's say pulses, etc. So what was the price of all these crops from the last 10 years, and what was their average produce? So that was taken into consideration, and 1/3 of the average produce fixed in rupees per bigha. Bigha is a unit of land, like part of an acre. So one third of the average produce fixed in rupees per bigha was fixed as the land revenue. So even if there is fluctuation in the weather, weather is not normal, rains have not happened properly, or less rains have happened, etc. All those things, vagaries of nature were taken into consideration, and 1/3 of the average produce fixed in rupees per bigha was fixed as the land revenue. This is called rice system. This Ray or rice system was adopted by Sher Shah, and the same was copied by Akbar. Now, under this, as part of this experiment, depending upon the fertility of the land was divided into 4 categories: Pulaj, Parauti, Chachar, and Banjar. So, what is Pulaj land? Pulaj land is that land where you could grow 2 to 3 crops in a year. You can grow 2 to 3 crops in a year. It's a very, very fertile land. So, you can grow 2 to 3 crops in a year. Parauti land is that land which has to be left fallow for a year. So 1 year you cultivate that land, and then the next year you don't cultivate. Why? So that the land regains its fertility. So you leave that land fallow for 1 year fallow. That is called Parauti. Then the third category of land, Chachar, that is you leave that land fallow for 3 or 4 years. Okay, you leave it fallow. That is, you don't cultivate anything. You will cultivate 1 year, then for 3 or 4 years you don't cultivate, because that land requires 3 or 4 years to regain its fertility. That's called Chachar. Banjar is Banjar Bhumi, where you cannot cultivate anything. So nothing is cultivated here. So depending upon the fertility of the land, it was divided into 4 categories. Are you there with me till now? Yeah, Surya, I'm trying to do that because this is slanting. I'm not used to, this is a slanting screen. So, I'm not very comfortable in that slanting screen. I'm trying to do my best. So, this is called the land revenue system this is the Bandobast system. You can see here under this average produce of different crops, and average prices prevailing over the last 10 years were calculated, and 1/3 of the average produce fixed in rupees per bigha was fixed as the state share, right? So remember that average produce of different crops and average prices of those crops in the last 10 years were calculated, and 1/3 of the average produce fixed in rupees per bigha was fixed as the land revenue. And this is called as Rai system or Ray system, of Sher Shah, right? So land was divided into 4 categories: Pulaj, Parauti, Chachar, Banjar. Then land revenue was known as Mal or Kharaj. And we have different forms of revenue collection adopted by the government, different methods of revenue collection. These are the following. You can see here: Galla Bakshi, Bauli or Batai, Kankut and Nasak. Now, what is Galla Bakshi, Bauli or Batai? That is sharing of crop between the government and the producer. So let us say I'm a farmer, and then the government officials will come to my farm. I have already, let us say, this is my farm of 2 acres, okay? And I have grown, let us say, wheat. I have grown wheat, and it is ready for harvest. So what the government officials will come and do is they will measure my land. They'll come to know it's 2 acres. And then let us say they will draw a line. They will draw a line like this on the farm, and they will say this part of the field will be the tax collected by the government. So we are going to take away this much amount of crop from the land. So there were different methods of crop sharing. This is one method: Batai, Khet Batai, Lung Batai. So sharing of crops between the government and the producer. Let's say I have already harvested my crop, let us say, and I have stored the wheat in mounds like this, no, in mounds like this, right? So the government officials will come, the revenue collectors, and they'll say, this mound belongs to the government. This is your tax. This is the amount of tax you're supposed to pay. So therefore, they will take away that mound, has tax. So there were different methods of crop sharing. One is Galla Bakshi, Bauli, Batai, sharing of crop between the government and the producer. And there were three types: Batai, Khet Batai, where the Khet is divided, and Lang Batai. Then Kankut, assessment of land revenue based on sample survey. Assessment of land revenue based on sample survey. So let us understand this. What is a sample survey? Let's say there is a 10,000 acre land. 10,000 acres land is there. It will be, and you have farming which has been done by by various farmers in this area of 10,000 acres. So to measure all the 10,000 acres and then calculate and fix the land revenue would be difficult. So what they will do is they will take a sample. Let us say they will only measure, let us say 10 acres. They'll measure 10 acres or 5 acres. Let us say 2 acres they'll measure. 2 acres they'll measure, and they will fix the tax on these 2 acres. And that tax is applied to the rest of the areas also. That's called sample survey. So the same sample is applied to the other part of the field. That is called Kankut, assessment of land revenue based on sample survey. And Nasak is assessment based on past experience. Assessment of land revenue based on past experience. So previously the farmer was paying a certain amount of tax. So on that basis, the same amount of tax is collected by the revenue officials. So this is called, these are the various methods of revenue collection. So you have gold coins, silver coins, all those were there at that point in time. If the farmers refuse to pay tax, then what will the king do? You think about it, Yasin, what will the king do? Why should he pay? How dare he refuse to pay tax? He has to pay tax. Otherwise, he'll be punished. He will be punished, right? Now we'll come back here. So then we have these terminologies. Remember these terminologies, revenue terminologies of Mughal period, particularly Akbar's period, Nankar and Malikana. So what is Nankar? 1/10 of the produce was given away as allowance, Nankar, to the Zamindar who helped the government in collecting the revenue from the farmers. That is called Nankar. 1/10 of the produce given as allowance or Nankar to the Zamindar who assisted the government in the collection of revenue. So Zamindar is the one who is actually getting the land measured in that area, in his zamindari, wherever he's staying. All those villages are there under him. So he'll get the land measured, and then he'll collect the taxes from the farmers, and then hand over that tax to the government. So he was given an allowance. That is called Nankar. 1/10 of the produce, okay, was given as Nankar. Then Malikana. What is Malikana? Malikana is the government officials are not taking the help of the zamindar of that area. So they are directly coming to the farmer and they are collecting the taxes. But then the zamindar has hereditary rights over that area. He has got proprietary rights over that area. From his forefathers' time, he has been a zamindar in that area. So therefore, it will be a loss to him if nothing is paid to him. And therefore, you have what is known as Malikana given to him, has his right over that, has the proprietary right over that area. So that is called Malikana. So that amounted to about 25%. So it was a compensation for imposts and perquisites lost equal to 25%. So as the zamindar, he has certain concessions, perquisites. So he will be losing that because you are the direct government officials coming and directly collecting the taxes. So therefore, to compensate the zamindar, this Malikana was given, equivalent to about 25% of the imposts and perquisites lost. Are you there with me? Nankar and Malikana. Are you clear? Nankar and Malikana here. Please raise your hands if you have understood. You want me to repeat anything? Okay. Nankar, Malikana. Malikana, yeah, Yasin, Malikana is the government officials, you can see the administration decided to collect the revenue through its own agents by bypassing the zamindar. They have not taken the help of the zamindar. Government has collected the taxes directly. But then the latter, that is the zamindar, is entitled to a share in the collection of revenues called malikana. That is proprietary right. He and his forefathers have been the zamindars of that area from bygone times. So therefore, he was given a compensation equivalent to 25% of the imposts and perquisites lost. Whatever he had lost, as the privileged zamindar of that area, 25% was given to him. That is called malikana. Denkli, Chadas, Sakya, these are all water lifting devices. You see, I put pictures here on your screen. Sakya, this is the Persian wheel. Sakya, Persian wheel was also called Sakya. So this was used to draw water for irrigation, drinking water from a deeper level. So that's Sakya. Chadas is this, something like a bucket. Chadas. And Shadu for Dhinkli. You can see you have a counterweight here. You have a counterweight here, and this person is drawing water from this particular canal or lake. So he just has to drop the bucket down and then pull it up slightly, and the weight will take care of it. The counterweight will easily pull it up. So these are various water lifting devices. I also did not know this because it was pictures were not there. Then I found these pictures on the net and I put it. So this is Sakya, Chadas, Shadu for Denkli, right? Then we have different types of farmers. You can see on your screen, Kutkasht farmer, Pahikashta farmer. So what is the meaning of Kutkashta? Kud is what? Kutka, apne aapka, yourself, your owns. So there's a farmer, okay, let's say there's a farmer called A. There's a farmer called A. He is living in his own village. Okay, he owns the land. He is the landowner of that. He's got about 2 acres land. So he's the owner of that piece of land. He has his own implements. Okay, so he's a resident of that village. He has his own lands and implements, and he will engage in farming. And whatever is the taxes to be given to the government, whatever is the due tax, he will pay that tax. That is called a Kutkasht farmer. So he's virtually like a landlord. He owns the land. He is living in his own village. He owns the implements, and he will get the land. He will cultivate the land, and he'll pay the whatever the tax is due to the government. That's called Kutkashta. Pahikashta farmer. Who is a Pahikashta farmer? So let's say there's a farmer called B. Okay, he is not from that village. He is from a neighboring village. So he'll come from the neighboring village. Okay, and he'll work on that land, on somebody else's land on a contractual basis. He doesn't own implements. He doesn't have implements. So he'll come from the neighboring village and he'll work on in another village on somebody else's land on a contractual basis. That's called Pahikashta. Are you there with me? Kutkashta, Pahikashta. Not 35%, Rajneesh. Nankar was different. Nankar, where 1/10 of the produce was given as allowance to the zamindar because he was the one who collected the taxes for the government. That's called Nankar. Malikana, when the government agents themselves collected, then he was given a compensation. That is called Malikana. So these are totally different different zamindars doing different work. That is called Kutkashta, Pahikashta. Balahars were ordinary laborers, Balahars. Muzariam, that is sharecroppers, low caste sharecroppers and landless laborers. So they did not have any lands and they also did not have any implements. They generally borrowed all these implements from the Kutkashta farmer. So Kutkashta farmer is owning his own land and implements. So he will help the Muzariam by lending the implements to the Muzariam. That's called Muzarian. So I have given the explanation here. Go through it. Kutkashta, Pahikashta, Muzarian. Okay, they're also called Rayatis. There were 2 types of these Muzarian, tenants at will, and those who had hereditary tenancy rights. They were called Paltis in Rajasthan. Those who had hereditary tenant rights. Okay, so this is about Akbar's revenue reforms, and then let us come to his religious policy. So Akbar was a person. Are you there with me? All of you clear? Paikashta farmer is that no, for Paikashta farmer is that person who comes from the neighboring village and works on the land of another person on a contractual basis. That is called Paikashta farmer. Malikana is higher. Yeah, that is true. It was a compensation given to the landlord Malikana by the government. That is Malikana, right? Nankar was only 1/10. That is right. I don't know that. Paltis became further Patels. I don't think so. I don't know that. Paltis became whether they became Patels. I don't know that. No, Rayat. The word Rayatwari comes from the word Rayat. Rayat is a farmer, right? Now let us look at the religious policy of Akbar. So you see, Akbar was an illiterate person. He was illiterate, but then he was inquisitive to know what is there in all the religions. Now, before I come to that part, you please understand that Akbar is a person who introduced a number of social reforms. What are the social reforms he introduced? First of all, he stopped forcible conversions of prisoners of war into Islam. So, forcibly converting a person into Islam was prohibited by him. Then he discouraged sati. Very interestingly, he discouraged sati, right? Then he discouraged marriages. Sorry, he discouraged conversions for the sake of marriages. Conversions for the sake of marriages. So he discouraged sati, discouraged conversions for the sake of marriage. Then he also um, um, he also prohibited the circumcision of boys below 12 years. Circumcision of boys below 12 years. So it was not allowed by Akbar. Then Akbar is a person who abolished the jizya in 1563 or so. He abolished the jizya and the pilgrim tax in 1564. Pilgrim tax. So what is this pilgrim tax? So Hindu pilgrims used to visit. No, even now they visit. They used to visit their holy places like Amarnath Yatra, or they will want to visit Kashi, Varanasi, Mathura, Ayodhya, etc. So during those days, to pay their respects to the respective deities. So they had to pay a tax for visiting those places. So Akbar felt that it is a very unfair to charge this pilgrim tax because um, God, in front of God, everybody is equal. So therefore, he banned this pilgrim tax, abolished it, right? And then no, Surya, he did not convert his wives to Islam. They were given names. They were given Muslim names, right? But then they were allowed to follow their religious tenets, whatever pujas and other things they performed. They were allowed to perform that by Akbar. So he did not forcibly convert anybody into Islam as such. No, of course, you have instances of Akbar using forcible conversions. We do have instances, but then his wives, he gave them a lot of independence, the freedom to follow their own religion as such. No. Sati is not practiced among Muslims. Sati was there, among Hindus. So he disgraced Sati, right? Sati was banned ultimately in 1829 by William Bentinck, as you all know. So here, these are some of the reforms of Akbar. And then Akbar opened a building in Fatehpur Sikri. So imagine this is the building. This is called Ibadat Khana. So Ibadat Khana. So nothing no Khana was given here. It was called Khana, Ibadat Khana. So here he initially invited Sunni Muslim gurus were invited to speak about Islam, and every Friday, there was a pillar attached to the, there was a pillar like this. So Akbar, and there was a seat attached. So Akbar will sit here. Akbar will sit here and he will listen to the Sunni Muslims giving discourse on Islam, what is there in the Holy Quran, about the Sharia, etc., 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 everything about Islam. So once he understood quite a lot about Islam, what is there in Islam, in the Holy Quran, etc., he invited other gurus from other religions, like for example, from Hinduism, Hari Vijaya Suri was invited. Then from Parsi religion, Parsi religion, one person is invited. From Christianity, he invited two fathers, Christian fathers, Portuguese fathers, Montserrat and Acqueva, Thomas Montserrat and Acqueva, Rodolfo Acqueva. Then from Zoroastrian religion, he invited a few gurus. So these gurus came and they spoke about their own religions. So Akbar came to know what is there in Hinduism, what is there in Zoroastrianism, in Christianity, in Jainism, etc. Now, after some time, from 1582 or so, Akbar discontinued debates in the Ibadat Khana. Why did he discontinue debates? Because these gurus began to fight amongst themselves, claiming their own religion as superior to other religions. The Hindu guru will say Hinduism is superior to Islam and other religions. The Muslim teacher would say Islam is the best religion, all others are not as good as Islam, etc., etc. So he dismissed all these gurus. He threw them out, and then taking the good qualities, taking not good qualities, all religions are good. So he taking the essential elements from all these religions, he founded a faith known as Tawhid-i Ilahi. Tawhid-i Ilahi. The word din was added to it 80 years later. So also called Din-i Ilahi. Now, this was not a new religion which was founded by Akbar, definitely not. Badauni, one of the critics of Akbar, was a person called Badauni. Badauni accuses Akbar of trying to found a new religion, but historians have not accepted that. It was not a new religion, but a way of life. You can call it as a way of life. So somebody who wanted to follow Tawhid-i-Ilahi, Akbar did not force this way of life or Tawhid-i-Ilahi on anybody, only those who were very close to him. Like, for example, Raja Birbal, Birbal. So, then we have Abul Fazl, Faizi. These people became the followers of Tawhid-i-Ilahi. So somebody who wanted to follow Tawhid-i-Ilahi had to surrender 4 things for the cause of the emperor. Understand this. They had to surrender 4 things for the cause of the emperor. What are the 4 things? A life. They're supposed to surrender their life, their honor, their religion, and their property. So they should be prepared to give up all these 4 things: life, honor, property, and religion for the sake of the emperor. So here Akbar was trying to create a group of people who will be solidly behind him, behind the throne. So he wanted to create a group of people who will be solidly behind the throne. But please understand, the Tawhid-i-Ilahi did not become popular. It died along with Akbar. Just as Dhamma died along with Ashoka, Tawhid-i-Ilahi died along with Akbar. So this is about the religious policy of Akbar. You see, one more thing I forgot to mention. Akbar did not have children for a long time. So he got pretty worried. Though he had many wives, he got pretty worried. And there was one Sufi saint. His name was Sheikh Salim Chishti. Sheikh Salim Chishti. So he went and, paid respects to this Sufi saint, Sheikh Salim Chishti, and he opened up his heart and mind and told him that I'm not having any children, sons, and I want, somebody to succeed me to the throne. Please pray for me on my behalf. You please pray to God Allah. So Sheikh Salim Chishti, prayed for Akbar, and then Salim Chishti assured him, don't worry, you will not have one but many sons. And after some time, a son was born to Akbar who was named Salim after Sheikh Salim Chishti. And this Salim later became Jahangir. So he was named after Sheikh Salim Chishti, and Akbar also founded the city of Fatehpur Sikri. Akbar founded the city of Fatehpur Sikri after this Sufi saint called Sheikh Salim Chishti. Fatehpur Sikri, which is about 40 kilometers away from Agra. Are you there with me? This is about Akbar's. Yeah, Akbar was unable to read. Yeah, Akbar was unable, he was an illiterate person. But that's why I said that he observed all the essence of all these religions, and taking the essence, he found a way of life, what he called as a way of life, that is called Tawhidi Ilahi. Are you there with me? Is Akbar Birbal's stories true? Yeah, some are made up, some could be true. Some are made up, some could be true. Just as, you have Krishna Devaraya and Tenali Ramakrishna as part of Vijayanagara. But we know, according to history, Tenali Ramalinga was never in the court of Krishna Devaraya, actually, according to history. So when I come there, we will talk about it. Suddenly, I might create a controversy here, but that's the truth. According to latest research, Tenali Ramalinga was never in the court of Krishna Devaraya. So here, but there are a lot of stories told that they were really existing in the court of Krishnadevaraya, the Ashtadigajas, as they are called, popularly called Ashtadigajas. So, but history doesn't support this fact. Okay, so we'll come back here. Now, what more I need to discuss about Akbar? Yeah, no, look here. Akbar, um, issued what is known as the Mazar Declaration. Understand this? What is this Mazar Declaration? Mazar Declaration. Now, what is this Mazar Declaration? Understand this. Now, if there was more than one interpretation in the Holy Quran, in the Shariat or in the Holy Quran, then it would be Akbar who will decide which is the right interpretation. That is called Mazar Declaration. For example, let us say, let's say um, we have a few lines in the Shariat, right? So the Islamic law, this is the book, let us say, and this is the page. There are a few lines, okay? And there are 4 Maulvis. Maulvi is the head of a mosque. So they know, they have studied the Sharia, they know the Holy Quran, etc. But there are 4 lines in the Holy Quran or in the Shariat, let us say, whose interpretations vary. So for example, let's say there is a Maulvi called A, B, C, D. These Maulvis, A will say this is the interpretation of these 4 lines. B will say a different interpretation. He'll give a slightly different interpretation. C will give a totally different interpretation. And D will also give his own interpretation. So there is no unity amongst these Maulvis as regards the interpretation of certain lines in the Holy Quran or in the Shariat. Now, it would be Akbar who will decide which is the right interpretation. So, Akbar thus became the Imam-e-Adil, that is chief Imam. Imam-e-Adil or chief Imam. So, nobody is more superior than Akbar, chief Imam. So, therefore, it is said that Akbar was trying to possess both the powers of the Pope as well as powers of Alexander. That is, he was not only the political head, but also the religious head, the temporal head. So political, not only just the political head, but also the temporal head. So he is called, this is called Mazar Declaration. Did you understand Mazar Declaration? Mazar Declaration. No, Salim, Akbar had many sons. I've already told you Danial was one of his sons. His favorite, of course, eldest son was Salim. Okay, so that's called Mazar Declaration. So this is about Akbar in the year 1605. Now look here, Akbar had a son. What was his favorite son's name? Salim. Salim. Now Salim was married, and he already had a son called Kusru. Kusru. So please understand, Salim was born after a lot of prayers, after a lot of manat. prayers to God. So this boy Salim had been spoiled by the family members of Akbar, including Akbar. So he was pampered by Akbar's mother, foster mother, etc., all the women, and including Akbar. So this boy Salim became a careless fellow. He grew. As he was growing, he was very irresponsible. He grew up to be a very irresponsible boy, and later a man. So irresponsible. He would not take interest in administration. He would not attend the classes regularly, whatever tutors had come to teach him. So he would not take those lessons seriously, right? And he would be roaming around. So Akbar did not like this. So Akbar was telling him to take more interest in administration because tomorrow he's going to be the next emperor and he's got responsibilities as an emperor. But Salim was like a vagabond roaming around, not bothered about anything. Then, to discipline Salim, Akbar began to tell Salim or threaten Salim that I will not name you as my successor. I'll make your son Khusro as the next successor. So he began to bully Salim like this, right? And ultimately, so there was a lot of there were differences between father and son. Temperamentally, they were different. But ultimately, Salim came around when Akbar was on his deathbed. He came and apologized to his father, and Akbar appointed Salim, nominated him as his successor. And after Akbar died, he was buried at Sikandra near Agra. Akbar had started the construction of his mausoleum, but he could not see its completion. So it was completed by Salim, who took the title of Jahangir. So the next emperor, obviously, is Jahangir. So you can see on your screen. So all these details are here, whatever I've explained to you. This is the Ibadat Khana, the building which was constructed in Fatehpur Sikri, where religious discussions were heard by Akbar from various saints. So these are the various gurus who came. You can see here on your screen. Purushottam Das represented Hinduism. Maharji Rana, a Parsi religion. Harivijaya Suri, Jainism. Antonio Montserrat and Rodolfo Acquevac, Portuguese Christian fathers who spoke about Christianity. And then we have the Mazar Declaration in 1579. So if there were more than one interpretation of Islamic law, he was entitled to choose any one of those interpretations, which would be in the interest of good order. That's called Mazar Declaration. So he became the Imam Adil or chief Imam as such, right? So here, one more thing is, in 1582-83, Akbar ordered the writing of the history of the world. So he ordered a group of scholars to write the history of the world. This book came to be called Tarikh-i Alfi, the history of the millennium, right? Because the millennium was the Islamic millennium, the first Islamic millennium was supposedly coming to an end. So therefore, he ordered the writing of this particular book called Tarikh-i Alfi. So it was written by a group of scholars under Akbar. Are you clear till here, all of you? I cannot read Urdu. I've never thought about it, Shreyas. Why do you feel that I know Urdu? I don't know Urdu. But it's always good to know many languages, right? I don't have the brain power like Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Raja Ram Mohan Roy wanted to read the Holy Quran in original. So he learned Urdu, he learned Arabic for that matter. He learned Arabic and he read the Holy Quran. He wanted to study the Bible in the original, which is in Hebrew language. So he learned Hebrew to study the Bible in the original because he did not want to read the interpretation. So I don't have that brain power. So neither the interest to learn any language. I'm happy with the few languages I know. Okay, so are you clear, all of you? So let us come to the next section, that is Jahangir. Jahangir. So this is Jahangir for you. Salim becomes Jahangir. He ruled from 1605 to 27, right? Parsi religion, Yasin Parsis are migrants from Iran, Parsis. So they worship the fire. John Abraham is a Parsi film actor. Tatas are Parsis. So that is a Parsi religion. They worship fire. Okay, right. So let us talk about Jahangir for you. Let's talk about it with him. Now, he was a spoilt brat. As I told you, Jahangir, Salim was a spoilt brat. As he as he was growing up, he did not take interest in administration. He was born after a lot of prayers to Harkabai. Harkabai, who became Maryam uz Zamani. So he was born to Akbar's Kachwaha wife, that is Harkabai, whose name was Maryam uz Zamani. So she had been given a new name, Maryam uz Zamani as such. So he was born to her. Now, I told you that Akbar was trying to discipline him because Salim was a very irresponsible, arrogant boy. So Akbar told one of his ministers, Abul Fazal, please, old minister Abul Fazal, Akbar treated him like a father. He had given him the stature of his own father. So Abul Fazal was advised or was requested by Akbar to go and counsel Salim so that Salim comes around, becomes more responsible. So Abul Fazal was on the way to counsel Salim, advise him. Salim came to know about this, that Abul Fazal is on the way, old man is on the way to advise him. So Salim had a best friend, his name was Bir Singh Bundela, um, the son of Chhatrasal Bundela. The Bundelas were a tribe in Madhya Pradesh. So his name was Veer Singh Bundela. So he told his best friend Veer Singh Bundela, please do something. This old man is coming to advise me. Veer Singh Bundela murdered Abul Fazal on behalf of Salim. Right. So Akbar came to know about this, that, Abul Fazal has been murdered by Salim's friend, and he was wild with Salim. So he wanted to get Salim arrested and imprisoned. But then you have Akbar's mother, Hamida Banu Begum, Akbar's foster mother, Mahamanaga. They advised Akbar. They asked him to cool down. And Akbar was still very angry with Salim for having been responsible for the murder of Abul Fazal. Right? But then, as I told you, towards the end of Akbar's reign, and Akbar was threatening that he will make Salim's son, Khusru, as the next emperor and not Salim. But towards the end of Akbar's life, they reconciled, father and son reconciled, and Akbar nominated Salim as his successor. Now, when Salim came to power, he took a new name, Jahangir. So his real name was Nuruddin Muhammad Salim, who took the title of Jahangir. Jahangir means world conqueror. Jahangir. So he took that title. And on his accession, when he ascended the throne, he passed 12 ordinances. Like, for example, he excused a number of taxes. Then he ordered the construction of sarais, that is rest houses on the highways, so that mosques were constructed, so that there's more people living there, so to cut down the chances of robbery. So that was another thing. He ordered that mutilation of limbs, torture be excused and banned. So he banned torture and mutilation of limbs. Then he also introduced prohibition, that is, not to drink, but though himself was a drunkard. So Jahangir was a big drunkard, but then he introduced prohibition. So these are some of the ordinances which he introduced on his coronation or accession. Are you there with me, all of you? No. Abul Fazal was going to advise Salim, right? So that, he comes around. Akbar had requested Abul Fazal, please advise my son, so that, maybe with your advice, he will come around. But then Abul Fazal was murdered. Akbar is dead or alive? Of course, Akbar died in 1605. And as soon as Akbar died, you have Jahangir, Salim becoming Jahangir. He ascended the throne, right? Now, so these are the various ordinances which he ordered, including 2 days in a week. 2 days, meat was banned throughout the Mughal Empire. Nobody could consume meat, including Muslims. One was Thursday, and the other was Sunday. Why Thursday? Because that day happened to be the day he was coronated. So he came to power on that day. So Thursday, nobody could eat meat. Very interestingly, and secondly, on Sunday, because that was the birthday of his father. So his father was born on a Sunday, therefore, no eating meat on Sundays. So that was the ordinance issued by Jahangir. And in one of those pictures, you can see here, Akbar is praying to the sun. So I put this. This is in the Asian Civilization Museum. So here we have a painting where Akbar is praying to the sun as such, sun god. So we will talk about Salim now. Now, Salim, there's a love story I'll tell you now. So listen up, because it is connected with history. I have no interest in telling love stories. But then it's been a while since I've told you stories. But I'll tell you one now, relevant to history, relevant to the subject, because that's how Jahangir's life was. So as a young boy, he liked one girl, this Jahangir. So there's one character you must have seen. There was a famous movie in the 60s, 50s, 60s, Mughal-e-Azam, Salim and Anarkali. Now, please understand, there was never a girl called Anarkali in the history of the world. There was never a girl called Anarkali. This is the imagination of some drunkard lyricist who wrote this story called Mughal-e-Azam, love story between Salim and Anarkali, and that became a movie. And there's a very popular song also, Jab Pyar Kiya To Darna Kya. No, very famous song. Your parents might know that song, or your grandparents might have heard that song. So you ask them, they'll tell you. But there was never a girl called Anarkali in history. So who was Salim's love? This was his first love. And first love is supposedly true love. So here you see Salim's love was a girl called Meherun Nisa. Meher Nisa, right? And Salim used to like her. He wanted to marry her as a prince. He was as a young boy. But then Akbar felt that Meherun Nisa is not the right girl for Salim. Reason being that she came from a very simple family, humble background. So if Akbar felt she is not the right girl for Salim, who's going to be the emperor tomorrow. So later, Meherun Nisa was married off to a man called Sher Afghan. Understand this? Sher Afghan. So it is relevant to Jahangir's story. That's why I'm telling you this. Otherwise, I would have avoided telling this story. So here, Meherun Nisa was married off to a man called Sher Afghan. He was an officer in the Mughal army, posted in faraway Bengal. Okay, so he was posted there in faraway Bengal. So Meherun Nisa married Sher Afghan and went away to Bengal to live along with her husband. And from Sher Afghan, Meherun Nisa got a daughter. Her name was Ladli Begum. Ladli Begum. Daughter born to Sher Afghan and Meherun Nisa. So no, Kachwaha daughter, no. I said Akbar's Rajput Kachwaha wife, Harkabai. Where have I mentioned daughter, Prasad? Yeah, it is. So it is. That's what I said. Maybe I've said no, not daughter. Daughter of Baramal Kachwaha. You remember Baramal Kachwaha came to Akbar and said, "I want to give my daughter in marriage to you." That is Harkabai, and Harkabai's son was Salim. Right, Prasad? Okay, we'll continue here. So here, Meherun Nisa gave birth to a baby girl called Ladli Begum from Sher Afghan. Now, it looked like Salim had forgotten Meherun Nisa because Salim married other women, including Jagat Gosain. So he marries Jagat Gosain, one of the princesses of Jodhpur, Marwar, who later became the mother to the next emperor, Khurram or Shah Jahan. So Salim marries Jagat Gosain, and he had other princesses, other queens. In 1605, Akbar dies. You know this. 1605, Akbar dies, and Salim became the new emperor under the title Jahangir. And please understand, Jahangir had four sons. Jahangir had four sons. What are the four sons of Jahangir? Number one, the first son was Khusru. Khusru was his eldest son. Number two, Parvez. Parvez. Third son, Khurram. Khurram. And the fourth one, Shahryar. Shahryar. So these are the four sons of Jahangir. Now, Salim became Jahangir, in 1605, he ascended the throne, became the Mughal emperor. And that is after the death of Akbar, he became the Mughal emperor. Then what? He remembered his first love. So when he became the emperor, he remembered his first love, that is Meherun Nisa. And then we are told that he wanted her back in his life. So, and he was the most powerful man in India, the Mughal emperor. He could do anything he wanted during those days. So here, it is said that a conspiracy was hatched to finish off Sher Afghan. So in a skirmish, it was all organized because of the instructions of the emperor. So it was organized by the local governor. And in a skirmish, Sher Afghan was murdered. So Sher Afghan was killed. Ladli Begum became a widow, and she was brought to the palace. Sorry, Meherunisa became a widow. Meherunisa became a widow, and she was brought to the palace as a help. And for 3 years, Jahangir ignored her. Look at this fellow, Jahangir. Historians have different opinions as regards this story. Some of them say it is concocted, it is not true. Many of them say it was very much true. It was Jahangir who was madly in love with Meherunisa. He wanted to marry her and he wanted to be part of her life. So here he wanted her to be part of his life rather. So here Meherunisa became a widow. She was brought as a help to the palace. Now Jahangir ignored her for 3 years, and then but he influenced her mind in a very different manner, indirectly. Now Meherunisa had a father. Mirza, understand this. Meherunisa had a father. His name was Mirza Giyas Beg. Mirza Giyas Beg. So he was a low-level official in the Mughal government. He was given the title of Itimadud Dawla. Itimad Dawla, and he was made the Wazir of the Mughal Empire, that is the Prime Minister. Suddenly he becomes the Prime Minister, Mirza Giyas Beg. And then she had a brother, Mirza Abul Hasan. Mirza Abul Hasan. He was given the title of Asaf Khan, and he was made Khani Saman, that is Khani Saman, that is the head of the imperial household, the imperial palace. So he promoted them to high positions. So this family of Meherunisa was a very simple family, humble family. But suddenly, her father and brother are occupying very important positions. So they began to see a lot of wealth, influence, money, etc., which they had never seen. Their standard of life totally changed. And whom do you think they will praise every day? Obviously, Jahangir. And this made a nice impression on Meherunisa. After 3 years, through her father, he proposed marriage. Jahangir told Meherunisa's father, Itmadud Dawla, that I would like to marry your daughter. And he asked Meherunisa, and she agreed. Jahangir was elated. So he marries Meherunisa, and he gave her a new name, a new title, Noor Mahal. He called her Noor Mahal, light of the palace. And then he made her the chief queen, Noor Jahan. Noor Jahan. There was seldom a queen in the history of India who was as powerful as Noor Jahan, because you have the emperor's seal. Whenever there was a royal farman, you have the emperor's seal and signature countersigned by Noor Jahan. So you have Noor Jahan's sign and signature also, the seal also on the Mughal farman. So she became the Padshah Begum, the chief queen of Jahangir. And her position was equal to almost that of Jahangir, Noor Jahan. So this is the love story of Jahangir. He married his sweetheart, childhood sweetheart, Meherunisa, who became Noor Jahan. Now, we have, after marrying Noor Jahan, Jahangir neglected administration. So he began to neglect administration, and the administration was taken care by 4 people. This is called Noor Jahan's junta. Noor Jahan's junta ran the administration. So most of the time, Jahangir would spend in drinking, watching dance, and writing his autobiography, Tuzuki Jahangiri. In Persian language, he writes his autobiography, where he shamelessly describes what all he did after drinking. So Noor Jahan's junta consisted of Noor Jahan's father, right? That is Itimaduddaulah or Mirza Giyas Beg. So Noor Jahan's father. Number two, Noor Jahan's brother, that is Asaf Khan. Then Noor Jahan herself. And lastly, Khurram, the son born to Jahangir from another wife, that is from Jagat Gosain, the third son of Jahangir from another wife, Khurram. This is called Noor Jahan's junta. Are you there with me, all of you, till now? Now, hold on. I'm coming, Shreyas. You are wanting to know what happened to Ladli Begum. We'll come to Ladli Begum in just some time. Just hold on. Right. Now, look here. So, this is called Noor Jahan's junta. Noor Jahan's father, brother, Noor Jahan, and Khurram ran the administration. Now, the unity of the junta broke up after some time. Why did the unity of the junta broke up? Now, look here. Break up. Noor Jahan, after becoming the empress, the Pacha Begum, wanted to get her daughter Ladli Begum, her daughter from her first husband, Ladli Begum, married to Shahryar. So she got Ladli Begum married to Shahryar. You can see on your screen, Shahryar. So Shahryar was married to Ladli Begum. And Khurram, the third son of Jahangir, began to feel very, very uncomfortable. He began to feel very, very insecure, rather, not uncomfortable, insecure. Why? Because tomorrow, Noor Jahan would want Shahryar, her son-in-law, to be the next emperor, not Khurram. Right? She would want Shahryar, her son-in-law, to become the next emperor. So he began to think like this. Now, look here on your screen. Asaf Khan. Who is Asaf Khan? Khurram was the son of Jagat Gosain. It is there on the screen, Manpreet. यहाँ पे देखिए, Jagat Gosain. Junta, that's called Noor Jahan's junta. Junta is that the group of people, the core group who ran the administration. Musarraf, very good. Now look here on your screen. Noor Jahan's brother was Asaf Khan, and this Asaf Khan had a beautiful daughter. What was the name of this daughter? Arjumand Banu Begum. Arjumand Banu Begum. So look how Mughal politics is being played out here. It's very interesting, Mughal politics, family politics. So here, Asaf Khan had a beautiful daughter, Arjumand Banu Begum. And this Arjumand Banu Begum was given in marriage to Khurram. Okay, Khurram married Arjumand Banu Begum. Now, look here. This was the time when the Persians attacked Kandahar. The king of Persia, Shah Abbas. Shah Abbas attacked Kandahar and conquered Kandahar from the Mughals. Right? So that's the time when you have Jahangir and Noor Jahan ordering Khurram. Khurram, you take the Mughal army, take the command of the Mughal army and reconquer Kandahar from the Persians. So here we have Kandahar conquered by the Persians. And you remember, Akbar had spent almost 12 years or 14 years on the borders, on the border, 12 years, to guard the Mughal frontier. You have the Uzbek leader Abdullah Khan Uzbek, who wanted to conquer Kandahar. Akbar was equally determined to see that Kandahar remains within the Mughal empire. And he spent most of his time on the borders, almost 12 years. And only after he heard about the death of Abdullah Khan Uzbek, Akbar came back. So Kabul, Kandahar, Sindh, Balochistan, they were all part of the Mughal empire. But now, for the first time, the Persians had snatched away Kandahar from the Mughals. So therefore, you have Noor Jahan and Jahangir ordering Khurram to take the command of the Mughal army and reconquer Kandahar from the Persians. That is the time when Khurram said, no, I will not take this responsibility. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to be here. This was equal to rebellion. When the emperor has ordered something, you're supposed to comply with it. If you refuse, it is equal to Bagawat. Bagawat means rebellion. Now, why did Khurram refuse to take this responsibility of reconquering Kandahar from the Persians? Khurram felt that this is all a ploy, a trick on the part of Nur Jahan to shift him away from the capital city of Agra. If he goes away from Agra, right, or Delhi, then and he's in the border, then that's a time when she can put Shahryar on the throne. She can, convince her husband and declare Shahryar as the next emperor. And once Shahryar becomes the emperor, he is in supreme command. He is the most powerful person, and he can order even execution of Khurram if need be. So here, Khurram was very, very insecure. He did not want to go away from the capital, so he refused to take this responsibility, and this was construed, interpreted as rebellion. So Khurram was sent away to Deccan as the governor of Deccan. He was punished. How was he punished? Khurram was sent away to Deccan. So Khurram, you can see here, Khurram is sent away to the Deccan as the governor of the Deccan. So, and to see that Khurram behaves himself, two children of Khurram, two sons of Khurram. One was Dara Shikoh. So Khurram already had children. His name, one was Dara Shikoh, his eldest son, and the other was Aurangzeb, the third son of Khurram. These two were taken captive by Jahangir. He kept them under house arrest. He looked after them. They were, after all, his grandchildren. They were still young boys. So he wanted Khurram to behave himself. He might sit in the Deccan and rebel, again create problems. So therefore, they were taken away under the custody of Jahangir, Dara Shikoh and Aurangzeb, the two children of Khurram. Right now, Khurram was in the Deccan, and that's it. This is also the time when we have Mahabat Khan. We have a person called Mahabat Khan. He was the commander. He was the one who had defeated Khurram. Okay, when Khurram had rebelled. Now Mahabat Khan rebelled against Jahangir. So he was the commander of the Mughal army, Mahabat Khan. Please understand. So he was the commander of the Mughal army. And Mahabat Khan, I'll write it somewhere here only. Mahabat Khan. Why did he rebel? He rebelled because he had been appointed as the governor of Bengal. And he was happy with that particular post. He has the governor of Bengal. Now, it is said that Jahangir and Nur Jahan had gone to Kashmir for a holiday. So Jahangir was not keeping well. So to help him improve his health, he was taken to Jahangir. Jahangir was taken to Kashmir. So they were enjoying their holiday there, Nur Jahan and Jahangir. And this Mahabat Khan came to pay his respects to the emperor. So he came from Bengal to pay his respects. And that's the time when Nur Jahan is supposed to have asked Mahabat Khan to furnish the accounts of Bengal. So what is the income? How are you spending the money? I want the details. Give me that. So Mahabat Khan became very angry. He felt that his integrity was being questioned by Nur Jahan. And Mahabat Khan was a very influential noble. So what he did is, he ordered his soldiers to get Jahangir arrested. So Jahangir was arrested and put in prison there in Kashmir when he was enjoying his holiday. Jahangir was on his, his health was failing. So he was ordered to be arrested and put in jail. That is a time when we have the diplomacy of Nur Jahan coming into the fore. So Nur Jahan had a talk with Mahabat Khan and told him, what a foolish thing you have done. You have got the emperor arrested and you think you can become the next emperor. Think about it. Nobody will accept you as the next emperor. So therefore, she tells him, I will give you a guarantee. No harm will come to you. You release the emperor and I will allow you to go and join Khurram in the Deccan. So better sense came to the mind of, better sense prevailed on the mind of Mahabat Khan. He realized that he had done a foolish thing. So he released Jahangir from captivity and asked his pardon. And true to the word Nur Jahan had given her son, true to the word Nur Jahan had given Mahabat Khan, she allowed Mahabat Khan to go to the Deccan and join Khurram. Are you there with me? Now look here. So Mahabat Khan goes and joins Khurram in the Deccan. Mahabat Khan was the commander of the Mughal army. Are you there with me till here? Can I move on? So just understand the story. Whatever I'm telling you is there in the PPT, though it is not in the form of the story, I'm putting it. I'm coming to that. Musharraf, just hold on. Just hold on. I'll come to that. Now, this is the time when Jahangir died. So when Jahangir died, what happened? Where was Khurram? Khurram was in the Deccan. So what happened is when Jahangir died, Asaf Khan, the brother of Nur Jahan, got Nur Jahan arrested. So he put Nur Jahan in prison. He sent messengers to the Deccan to recall Khurram from the Deccan. So he was ordered to come back to Agra as soon as possible. So messengers went to the Deccan and to informed Khurram that he should be back in the capital. So Khurram came to know about this and he began to make his way towards Agra. By the time Khurram came to Agra, it was Asaf Khan who got the children of Jahangir murdered. So here you on your screen, you have Parvez who was murdered, Shahryar was murdered. Okay, so he got them arrested and killed. One son of Khurram from another wife was placed on the throne temporarily. One son of Khurram from another wife was temporarily placed on the throne. Okay, and Khusro, somebody asked about Khusro just now. Khusro already had been killed by Khurram. Understand this. Who was Khusro? Khusro was Jahangir's eldest son. Now, Khusro had rebelled. Please understand, when does the question of succession arise? The question of succession arises only after the death of the emperor. So it is said that Khusro, in the lifetime of Jahangir, had expressed his desire to become the next emperor. He wanted to become the next emperor. And Jahangir came to know that Khusro had spoken like this. So he was ordered to be arrested because it was interpreted as rebellion, signs of rebellion. So Jahangir ordered the arrest of Khusro. Khusro escaped and ran to the Punjab. And there we have the fifth Guru of the Sikhs, Guru Arjun Dev, Guru Arjun Dev Ji, the person who completed the Golden Temple, the Harmandir Sahib, the holiest shrine of the Sikhs, and who also completed the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikhs. So the fifth Guru, Guru Arjun Dev, was there in the Punjab, and this Khusro goes and pays his respects to the Guru. So he goes and falls at his feet. Thousands of people go and fall at the Guru's feet. So he also went and paid his respects. And the Guru put a tilak or a tika on his forehead. So when Jahangir came to know about this, that Guru Arjun had blessed his son, rebellious son Khusro, it was interpreted as supporting his son by Guru Arjun. So Guru Arjun was ordered to be arrested and executed by Jahangir. So here Guru Arjun Dev was tortured. He was made to sit on hot, tawa, boiling tawa. Hot sand was thrown at him on his bare body. So in various ways he was tortured, and then and he was being taken from one place to another place. At Lahore, which is now in Pakistan, at a place, so when he was being taken very near to the river Ravi, so he was being taken, very near to the river Ravi. That's the time when Guru Arjun expressed his desire to take a bath in the river. So he was let loose so that he can take a bath, clean himself up. But the Guru never came back from the river. He drowned in the river and died. Probably he could not take the torture anymore. So there, the Sikhs have built a Gurudwara. It is called Gurudwara Dera Sahib, which is in Lahore. So please understand, when I tell you this story, it is like, when I tell you this history, I'm presenting it like a story. It remains in your head. Do you agree with me? And you go back and read, you can relate to whatever I've told you. So these are the things which you need to remember. Whatever you need to remember is there in the PPT. So go through it, go and read the textbook. Your preparation is complete. So you come back here. So Khusro had already, so here please understand, Khusro was arrested later. He was brought before Jahangir and Khurram told him that he will take him to Deccan. So he was taken to Deccan by Khurram, by his younger brother, and there he was imprisoned by Khurram. He was blinded by Khurram, and Khusro was killed. So Khurram already had killed Khusro. So please understand, by the time Khurram makes his way to Agra, the major contenders to the throne had been finished off. Parvez and Shahryar were finished off. Noor Jahan, who was in prison, and the other son of Khurram was also finished off by Asaf Khan. So he secured the interest of his son-in-law, and Khurram came and sat on the throne and took the title Shah Jahan. And this person, this girl whom he had married, Asaf Khan's daughter, Arjumand Banu Begum, is none other than Mumtaz Mahal, on whose tomb the Taj Mahal stands today. Okay, so today I have run out of time. We'll continue with Shah Jahan tomorrow. We'll complete Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb, and then we'll come to the Marathas. And then, if time permits, we'll start with Vijayanagara also. So today I end my class here. We'll meet tomorrow. Go through the PPTs. I'll ask the backend team to share it with you if they have not at all shared till now. Read your textbook, and that should be a completion of complete preparation. No, it was not Jahangir. It was Khurram who had blinded Khusro, right? So that will be sent to you, Ashish. Don't worry. I have finished the story, Baba. Roshan, I have finished the story. What else story you want me to tell you? I have told you the story. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. It's not a story. It is history. What I'm teaching, presenting it in the form of a story. Okay, so you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you.